Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today. It's a lovely Monday evening. I hope you're having a wonderful time at work or returning from work or going to work, depending on where you are in the world. But thank you very much for being here. It's a delight to be with you this Monday evening. Thank you very much. I noticed we have 2.2k likes on TikTok. Thank you. But please, let's keep it coming. Let's try and keep liking the live and sharing as well. Keep liking, keep sharing. Thank you very much. Just going to check the other platforms to be sure we're good. Or like we say, it's where I come from. All right. Yemonites. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Today we are continuing with the series, The Evolution of Christianity in Yorubaland. Today we're discussing part 4. Before we get into all of that, we're going to start with the news and talk about what's happening around us, particularly in Nigeria. And a number of things have happened since the last time we saw. Interestingly, something even happened in our neighboring country, Benin Republic. We'll talk about that as well. Okay. Welcome everyone. Thank you. All right. All right. Let's start with. Just want to see people coming in, so we don't rush. Let's not rush. Preacher's boy, good to see you. Thank you very much for joining us. Good evening. Oh dear. It's going to be a lovely session today. Good evening, Preacher's boy. Good to see you. Let's start with what happened in Benin Republic. I'd like to start with not so good news. When we talk about the botched coup that took place in Benin Republic, it's seen as a national thing, which it is. But beyond that, individuals were affected, and one of those individuals is Major General Betin Bada. Interestingly, earlier this year, she was decorated as Benin's first ever full general of the Air Corps. And in case you don't know much about it. I'm just going to play the music. Don't play nígbà tí wọ́n fẹ́ ní jẹ́ general. She's a woman, by the way, and she's Yoruba. She's in Benin Republic. She's a member of Celestial Church of Christ. And this, just play something. Just you hear the music, you can't really make up what it is, but I'll probably just show you here. All right, so that's the man. It's his wife that was killed yesterday. The man, again, like I said earlier, was the first ever full general of the Air Corps in Benin Republic. His name, Major General Bertin Bada. And just months after that celebration, his residence in Abome, Calavi, just outside Cotonou, was attacked around 3 a.m. as the opening salvo in the failed coup. Obviously, the idea was to take out a key loyalist. Sadly, his wife, Berthe, and I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, I think it's French, and daughter were hit in the assault. Unfortunately, she died from her wounds. So it's quite sad that something like that would happen. So I can find that picture and show you. Zoom on. It's quite sad. There's another report of that matter I want to read because I want to try and give it a human face before we get into the other part of the news.
Is this part up on TikTok?
Please let's power tap on TikTok as we get started. Stop for somewhere there. Umbo. This part up, let's try and get the likes up as we get started. If you're joining us on YouTube, thank you very much for being here. On Facebook as well, you're welcome. We're streaming on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter and Twitch, and of course right here on TikTok. Please like the live and share so we can have the algorithm recommend the live stream to others. Thank you very, very much. Okay, I found the picture I was looking for. Here's the picture I was looking for. You know. Sad that will happen to a family. Yeah, so rest in peace. We still talk about the coup itself, but something sad also happened in St. Andrew's Anglican Church, Isiokwe, in Lilu community of Ihiala local government area of Anambra State. Some people are calling the people who attacked the church unknown gunmen. Some people are calling them terrorists. Some people are calling them yet to be ascertained armed assailants. But the important thing is that they attacked the church. They killed 2 persons, burnt down vehicles, and excuse me, also burned down the cleric's apartment. Some people are calling them IPOP terrorists. The point is that some sad things are happening, and we pray that God rest the. How did they say it? May the souls of the departed rest in peace. Having said that, let's now get into other news. And we'll start with. No, I need to read it. One I just said right now. Let me read it in Sarah Reporters. Four people killed as we read two earlier. There are now four. 4 people killed as gunmen attack Anambra Market. Wait, those are two different issues. The one where 2 people were killed, that was in a church. Here, where 4 people were killed, it's in a market. And this happened today as well, December 8, 2025. 4 people were confirmed killed on Sunday evening by gunmen who attacked Afo Market along the Onitsha-Awka Old Road in the Northia community, Njikoka local government area of Anambra State. The President General of the Northia Progressive Union, Mr. Daniel Okoye, who confirmed the incident to journalists, said security agencies had been contacted and investigations were underway. Okoye said that on Sunday evening, quote, that he received a deep shock, the tragic news of an attack at Afo Market Junction in Northia community. The incident resulted in multiple casualties caused by unknown assailants. I strongly condemn this senseless act and the attempt to disrupt the peace of our community. I have contacted the relevant security agencies and investigations are undergoing. I urge all the Northia to remain calm, stay vigilant, and cooperate with security operatives as they work to restore normalcy. Pray for peace in our land. We need peace. Every part of Nigeria. All right. Let's discuss some things that have to do with Benin Republic. I think we should start with a video, an interesting scenario actually. Chief Dele Momodu had traveled to Benin Republic, and he tells the story of how he escaped the attempted coup in that country. Let's take a listen to him and then go to the political side of things. Take a listen, please.
And if you have been able to speak with him in the wake of what we now know is an attempted coup, but are you glad that it is now, it only ended as an attempt and that it wasn't successful?
Good morning, Imambe, and thank you for inviting me. Yesterday to me was very surreal. I was going to wake up in the morning at 5 a.m. to head straight to Cotonou, have a quick breakfast, and then head out to Lome, and from Lome to Ghana. I've done that trip too many times, and it's something I love to do, especially on Sundays, because there will be no traffic. So, but unfortunately, the night before, I had all my international papers, but then I asked my driver for the vehicle particulars, and he only had the photocopy. I wasn't comfortable with that. I searched everywhere, my 2 offices in Lagos. I searched in the night, and maybe around 11 or thereabouts, I decided that, look, we must abort the trip. I called my friend, Rotimi Obe. We were traveling together. The man who speaks French and lives in Benin Republic is actually from Benin, and Alex Damilda was already in town to accompany us through the journey. Then, when I couldn't get the papers, I called everybody in the middle of the night. I said, I'm sorry, we won't be able to make the trip. And that was what saved us. I was born in an Adura church, so I believe in spirituality. And I believe that somehow God must have intervened, because we would have been right inside Benin Republic at the time this melodrama was ongoing, and my car has Nigerian plate number, so which means easily I'll be identified within the community. But as God will have it, we missed that. I'm happy that they were able to foil the coup, and someone who had fought the military dictatorship in the past in my own country. It was a welcome development. When I escaped from Nigeria on July 25th, 1995, I escaped through Semeboda into Cotonou, from where I went to Lomé, crossed the Aflao border into Ghana, and from Ghana to England, where I will live for the next 3 years. So it's for me, it brought back sad memories that, I thought, democracy has taken root in Africa, but it seems that we're going backwards, which is...
All right, so Adi traveled earlier than he planned. You'll have been caught in it. I saw people in the comment section saying he escaped. I know he escaped. I'm reading the caption, Channels TV caption, so that's how they wrote it there. But yeah, that's that about that. Anyway, while all that was going on, President Tinubu commends Nigeria's armed forces for protecting democracy in Benin Republic. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has I'll tell you that again. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has commended the gallantry of Nigeria's military on Sunday. 1 second, please.
So Sunday on YouTube. I had a great weekend. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon.
Mr. Sunday on YouTube. I had a great weekend. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Ẹkáàbọ. Paris events. Ẹkọjúmọ́ ọlọ́dọ̀tí. Ẹ ṣé o. So this is from Bayo Nanuga, who is the Special Advisor, Information and Sex Strategy to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Tinyo Love, good evening. Thanks for coming. So again, this is from Bayo Nanuga, who is the spokesperson of the Special Advisor, Information and Strategy to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He says President Tinubu commends Nigeria's armed forces for protecting democracy in Benin Republic. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has commended the gallantry of Nigeria's military on Sunday for responding swiftly to the request by the government of Benin Republic to save its 35-year-old democracy from coup plotters whose stroke had dawn today, that's yesterday. Acting on two separate requests from the government of Benin, President Tinubu first ordered Nigerian Air Force fighter jets to enter the country and take over the airspace to help dislodge the coup plotters from the national TV and a military camp where they had regrouped.
The Republic of Benin, through its Ministry of Foreign Affairs in a note requested immediate...
The Republic of Benin, through its Ministry of Foreign Affairs in a note verbal, requested immediate Nigerian air support, quote, in view of the urgency and seriousness of the situation, and to safeguard the constitutional order, protect national institutions, and ensure the security of the population. A lot of people have been talking about why Nigeria got in there. Well, first, the government of Benin itself actually requested Nigeria helped Benin at the time. Then, of course, ECOWAS also released some statement. I'm sure you must have heard of all these things. But just in case you haven't, I'm just going to read a quick. So they released two yesterday. The first one was ECOWAS statement of the Republic of Benin. Very quickly, ECOWAS Commission has received with consternation reports of an attempted military takeover in the Republic of Benin. ECOWAS will support the government and the people in all forms necessary, including the deployment of the regional standby force to defend the constitution and the territorial integrity of Benin. And then later on, they released another statement where they say here, pursuant to the provisions of relevant ECOWAS instruments, in particular Article 25E of the 1999 protocol relating to the mechanism for conflict prevention, management, resolution, peacekeeping and security, and so on and so forth. The long and short of the story is that the chair of ECOWAS, Authority of Heads of State and Government, has ordered the deployment of elements of this ECOWAS standby force to the Republic of Benin with immediate effect. The good thing is that the coup has been quelled and the governor is back in his seat, and this is the governor of Benin Republic after the whole episode. Take a listen to him. Sheikh Bob Benin, I'll read to you in English.
Par la même occasion, si particulièrement vous, de l'intérieur comme de l'extérieur, pour votre soutien actif et vos nombreux messages d'encouragement durant cette journée. Ils nous ont rassurés et donné l'énergie nécessaire pour faire
Right, along with French. Here's the summary of everything he said in English language. The situation is totally under control. This adventure will not go unpunished. Long live Benin. That's President Patrice Talon during his address to the nation following the failed coup attempt on Sunday, December 7, 2025. And that's from Benin Republic. I think we should be happy about that. Like, it will not make sense to have another dictatorship or military government or military regime so close to us, you know, in Benin Republic. So I'm happy for them, by the way. But it's also important that we had to do what we had to do. And I mean, nobody's talking about it here, but I've heard people say things like, oh, why did Nigeria go there? Because, I mean, Kiniato Kotono Ateko, I think it's Benin Republic shares borders with Nigeria from the north to the south. You know, so it makes sense that Nigeria would get involved. And yes, like Geometric said earlier, like I read earlier as well, it was also a request. And then also, the ECOWAS itself also wanted to move in. And people have compared it with what happened with Niger Republic. You know, when I saw those things on social media, it just reminded me of what we said here. At the end of the day, ethnicity trumps just about everything in this country. Because when what happened in the north happened and they were going to get involved, Hausas in Nigeria spoke against it because, of course, they're thinking about their own brothers in the other part of, you know, on the other side of the border. But in this case, I'm very glad the way it went, and you know, and they're having an election next year, April. So I don't know why they should just, you know, get the man out if they think he's not doing well enough, rather than, you know, go through this route. So very glad that that was quelled in Benin Republic and there's peace within their borders now. Going forward, moving forward, there was a space on X, right? And some people had the conversation about ports. Someone says Talon is not contesting next year. Really, I didn't even know that. Senior love, amen. Thank you for the prayers. I did not even know that he wasn't contesting. Let me read some things about this. I'm seeing some stuff on YouTube as well. It says, intervene in Benin but not in Niger. I'm curious as to the overall message that conveys. What message does it convey? With everything we just said right now. ECOWAS went in there because they had a standby force. All right? The government of Benin Republic actually requested help. Okay? This was not an invasion. Right? So how this is different from Niger Republic, we already explained that in Niger's case, they couldn't even find the president for a bit, and when they were about to do it, Nigerians in the north, who were of course ethnically related with folks in Niger, were totally against what the president was going to do at the time. All right? So this is like, the idea basically is the government helping another government to stabilize what's happening in their country. This is not a government, this is not Nigeria invading Benin Republic. You know, but agenda must agenda, but we're not agent, you know. But people can say whatever they want to say. I think that's the easiest way to explain that's my own way of explaining what happened. And we should be glad, by the way, because if Tomati Debe or the Suma Nigeria. All right, I was saying that there was an X space recently where some people had a conversation about the ports in Nigeria, and I just thought I should play it because it's one of the erroneous beliefs that people have about the situation of ports in Nigeria. This is, I don't want to mention the person's name because it's not that important, but what the person said is important that we all listen to it because many people think the same way. Take a listen, please.
You know, I see this false information that go around all the time. You know, people say I'm from Edo State, APC people, you know, my father is a chieftain in Edo, blah, blah, blah. And I just laugh when I see most of those things because, I mean, even if people want to pass false information, make it make sense. I think a lot of people know me here, and a lot of people know I am from the north. I'm from the middle belt. I want to tell us from the middle belt. I want to tell us something. I think we Northerners, we have a problem. I won't lie. We have a problem, and that problem is a problem of entitlements. We have a huge problem of entitlements. We need to start speaking to ourselves. And then the Southerners, South, Southeast, Southwest, people also have a problem. You people have a problem of not making sure your political relevance is felt. I don't know if it's because you have so many sellouts. I don't know if it's because you just can't sit with yourself. You can't sit together to actually decide what you want as a geopolitical zone. But you see these issues. If we don't solve it now, these are the issues that are going to destroy our nation. The issue of entitlements and the issue of people who cannot come together to speak for their own people. You cannot come out to say, this is what my people lack. This is what they need. This is what we need to do. They were planning to make a port recently, and I saw that an aide to Sanwo-Olu went on TV and was crying that a port is going to be made in another state. A port is going to be made in another state, and you people are angry about it. I don't understand. Is it even right that Nigeria only has one functioning port? Is it even right? Where is that even done?
It's so crazy, so crazy.
Even countries that are smaller than us.
All right, so the person started by saying people are spreading misinformation, then went on to spread misinformation as well. There's no way any sane person in Nigeria will think only one port works in Nigeria. We had a session here the other day. We had a session where we talked about what's happening in other ports across the country. But the idea that you can speak good English to say that there's only one port working in Nigeria, then you get angry and everybody's saying, yes, who does that, doesn't mean you're really thinking straight. There are many ports working in Nigeria, right? It's not only Lagos. Well, you have ports working. There are ports working. There's owners working. Okay? And the other day we talked about the breakdown of the money they've been making for a few years, right? But that's not today's topic. The point I want to actually speak to was what he said about what Sanwo-Olu's aide said on the matter of certain port activities being moved to Warri. The truth of the matter is this. What did they say? And here's what they said. Excuse me. Sanwo-Olu said the real issue is not about moving the stuff, but the systems that they have that is not allowing efficiency. Now, the truth of the matter is that if you move activities from Lagos to Warri and you don't fix your systems, then what it means basically is that you're going to go ahead with an inefficient system wherever you go. So it's not about the location, it's about the system. However, should they move it? If it's going to help them do the work, they should move it. But why is Sanwo-Olu against it? Because it's the governor of Lagos State. Because there are organizations that depend, there are logistic companies, there are companies that depend on the wharf working or depend on the port working in order to be able to thrive and live. So it makes sense for him to speak for his state and say, don't take it away from us, just fix these inefficiencies and then we can have everything running again. So there's nothing wrong with the governor speaking against it. He's the governor of Lagos State, not the governor of Nigeria. We don't do that here. You have to relax. We don't bring anybody for a while, please. Thank you. I've been seeing your comment section. When it's time, I'll let you know. It's not about Sanwo-Olu now speaking, come and take it away from us, take it to another place. Of course, he's not going to say that because he's the governor of Lagos State. His primary interest is the interest of Lagos State, not the interest of let us just have it and spread it, especially when he thinks, according to him, that the real issue is about the systems that allow for inefficiencies, in the operations of the Port Authority. So all this nonsense about, by the way, not one port, that there are many ports working in Nigeria, okay? And interestingly, the money that the ports make in Nigeria do not go to the state governors or state government. It goes to federal coffers. It's not like the governor collects money that NPA is making. Like, okay, it's in my land, yeah, bring the money. But there are many people, many companies, almost like, I don't use the word hangers on, but other people who thrive because of the location of that port. That's actually where the juice is. And if you move it to Warri, then it works as well. And by the way, for Yoruba people, it's also a way for us to begin to think in a way that if they move things from one side of Yorubaland to another side, but you know what is, you get the point. If someone move it from one Yoruba space to another one, we should think that, okay, it's the same thing for us. We should think in that sense. But the governor of Lagos State does not represent Nigeria. He represents Lagos State. So he was speaking for his state. And there are many more ports that will come up, in very soon. Ports are being built. And I just wanted to speak on that thing about all the ports are not working. It's only one that works, and it's in Lagos. And then they go on to speak Oyibo, talking absolute nonsense. All right, moving away from that, while one governor is speaking up for his state and say that don't take anything away from my state, another governor is doing something interesting in Kebbi. And this is from yesterday. Kebbi provides 10 billion naira loan for Hajj. The Kebbi state government has provided 10 billion naira to secure 1,300 additional seats for its citizens participating in the 2026 Hajj exercise. The loan was approved to meet the December 5 deadline set by the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, according to the chairman of the State Pilgrims Welfare Agency, Alhaji Faruku Aliyu Yaro. Briefing journalists in Benin Kebbi on Saturday, Aliyu Yaro said the loan was given to his agency, praising Governor Nasir Idris for what he called a, quote, decisive, compassionate, and people-centered intervention. Someone says, was it a loan? It was a loan. Kebbi provides 10 billion naira loan for Hajj. Is this because governors don't have to do anything to get this money, and so they don't really have to think about how they spend it? Or because our priorities are just lopsided in this country? Why would a state governor borrow money or lend money to Pilgrims Board for people to travel abroad when it's not like they must go? Even in the, I'm not a Muslim, but when we're growing up, I'm Yoruba. When we're growing up, you hear everything. You hear Opomaru, 5 pillars of Islam. You're supposed to, there's zakat, there's, you pray 5 times a day, there's Ramadan, and there are 2 more. One of the other things is, let me see, Opomaru, Lopo, Islam, Ogwelamo. Wakirun, you pray 5 times a day, then you do your zakat, then you, Ramadan, you observe Ramadan, then you travel on pilgrimage when you can. That jihad part, you travel when you can afford it. That's what we heard growing up. I don't know if they've changed the scriptures. Right? Accept Allah. Okay, thank you. That's the first one, geometric. Thank you. You accept Allah as your God, and then the other things. So accept Allah, pray 5 times a day, observe Ramadan, do your zakat, and then you go to Mecca if you're able to afford it. Since when were you supposed to start lending people money in order for them to be able to travel to Hajj? What economic benefit does that have? This in a state that has 1 million out of school children. That state has 1 million out of school children. Jihad is not one of the 5 pillars, so don't mind the person, no Simsola. 1 million out of school children in Kebbi State alone, but we are lending money to people who want to travel for Hajj, 10 billion naira. Again, you see, you can spend your money anyhow you want, but the question is this: is this really state's money to spend anyhow they choose? Are they the ones making that money? Or just go cap in hand every month and you can get some money from the federal government, you can decide to do whatever you want to do with it. Therefore, there's no creativity, there's no incentive to even create something with the money you've gotten so that you don't have to go there next month. This is the kind of country we are running. It's sad. I don't read everything. It's sad, actually. But this is what the government is. I mean, if you want to do religion, do it too. But at some point, priorities, you begin to ask, priorities, what are the priorities that, nations have or states have? And it's more than everybody's sharing money. It's just a funny thing. Anyway, let's move away from that and quickly visit Sokoto. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Some people told me I've not been pronouncing it correctly. It's supposed to be Sokoto, not Shokoto. But I'm Yoruba. I grew up in Yorubaland, so we're always saying Shokoto. Koto wà lápò ṣòkòtò. Koto wà lọ ṣòkòtò wà lápò ṣòkòtò. Anyway, something happened. Well, between Abuja and Sokoto, Justice Omotosho rejects Nnamdi Kanu's ex parte request for transfer from Sokoto prison. It's quite interesting that the person that Nnamdi Kanu told something a while back decided to answer him after he had moved to Sokoto. Let me play what Nnamdi Kanu told this justice, and I'll read the news itself. Give me a second, please. All right, take a listen, very short.
There's not anything wrong. There's not anything wrong. You cannot. You can't convict me. Are you listening? It's not possible. I'm not the Kanu.
They not have started.
There's not anything wrong. You cannot. You can't convict me. Are you listening? It's not possible. I'm not the Kanu.
They not.
Court rejects Nnamdi Kanu's request to be transferred from Sokoto prison. This is Channels TV. Justice James Omotosho ruled that such an order could not be granted without hearing from the federal government. Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court, Abuja, has rejected an application filed by the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, seeking his transfer from the Sokoto Correctional Center to a custodial facility within the Federal Capital Territory or neighboring Nasarawa State. Kanu, through the Legal Aid Council, had approached the court with an ex parte application requesting an order directing the Federal Government of Nigerian Correctional Service, NCOS, to immediately move him from Sokoto to either Kuje Custodial Center in Abuja or Kefi Custodial Center in Nasarawa. In the alternative, he asked to be transferred to any custodial facility within the court's jurisdiction, including Suleja or Kefi, to enable him to effectively pursue his appeal. However, Justice James Omotosho on Monday declined the request. Omotosho, show me the law. He declined the request, ruling that such an order could not be granted without hearing from the federal government. Justice Omotosho held that the respondents, the federal government, and the NCOS ought to be put on notice for them to respond appropriately in the interest of justice before the request could be granted. He subsequently fixed January 27, 2026 for the hearing of the motion. All right, so hopefully they'll be able to do what they have to do, and then Nnamdi Kanu can, to be honest, I think he should just stay in Sokoto. They're saying that they've turned that place to a pilgrimage, whatever. So maybe they should be there for a while. May God bless them as they appeal. Because of what I'm about to read right now, Monwanyo, good. I saw something very ridiculous earlier today. I thought it makes absolutely no sense, but it is what it is. We're in Nigeria. Nnamdi Kanu acted like Awolowo by disengaging lawyers. Who said that? Consultant. Whatever makes you compare this person with that is just, it must be kind. Aloy Ejimako, legal consultant to the convicted leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has likened him to the late premier of the Old Western region, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, over his decision to represent himself in court. In a conversation with our correspondent, this is from Punch, by the way. In a conversation with our correspondent on Sunday, Ejimako suggested that Kanu's refusal to hire lawyers may be delaying the filing of his appeal against his life imprisonment by the Federal High Court in Abuja. So instead of lawyers to go file that stuff for him, he won't do it by himself. Quote, MNK has not filed his appeal yet because he has refused to hire lawyers. You know, he disengaged us as his lawyers. So we now act in the capacity of a consultant. I am a consultant to him, Ejimako said. I don't know why he does not want a lawyer, but I believe it is because he's a great man. What's this? I don't know why he does not want a lawyer, but I believe it is because he's a great man. Many great men are like that. They believe you can't present their case like they can themselves. Even Awolowo refused to hire lawyers in his time. Awolowo actually had lawyers. Did he defend himself? Yes. But did he have lawyers? Yes, he did. You know what? Maybe after this series and the next, we'll do something on Awolowo's treasonable, case, treasonable felony, and then we'll read his books and what he said about that case, because I don't know. Even if you refuse to hire lawyers, our law trained as a lawyer. This one, it is well. If I let me read it again, I just think it's just nonsense. It says he doesn't know why Nnamdi Kanu does not want a lawyer, but he believes it is because he's a great man.
Many great men are like that. They believe you can't represent the case like they can themselves.
Excuse me. Many great men are like that. They believe you can't represent their case like they can themselves. Even Awolowo refused to hire lawyers in his time. MNK wants to represent himself, and there are about 4 or 5 processes he has to follow to file the appeal before the appellate court. Ejimako also backed Kanu's request to be transferred to Abuja from the Sokoto Correctional Center. He said, quote, "The court already said he can't be in Kuje prison, so that is fine, but he needs to be closer to Abuja. So if the court will grant his motion to be transferred to Suleja prison or Kefi, to me, there is nothing special about any prison in Nigeria. They are all the same, but MNK needs to be close to Abuja." Why? To be able to file the case. Awolowo finished in England in 1947.
The inner temple, that's how they call it.
Studied law, was called to the inner temple. That's how they call it in England. He's a solicitor. This one, I see people writing all kinds of things in the comment section. I don't know his profession or what he was trained to do. You are they are doing this thing like it's comedy. Like it's comedy. In the middle of the whole thing, he says he doesn't want anybody to represent him. He's going to do it himself. Then he says he's going to call 23 witnesses. Then he changed his mind. It's his life on the line, and you guys are playing like this. You're comparing him with Tawo. Hey, this Nigeria self, I disrespect. You're comparing Nnamdi Kanu with Awolowo. The match used to compare that Kini concert, that mouth, Huawei. Someone says Kanu must stay in the caliphate. His insult to Fulanis will not go scot-free from Janjaweed. It is well, though. It is well. So because if you're a great man, you don't need lawyers. You don't have to study law. They're asking you job, you say, when they ask you for like anything, just tell them, show me the law. You have to ask the judge to show you the law. Show me the law. I want to show you don't know the law. And you must deceive yourself. You must just deceive. Yes, you are deceiving yourself in the name of defending yourself. It's a joke. It's a joke. I didn't read this earlier. I just saw what I wrote down. Oneport is working in Rivers State. Port Harcourt is working in Rivers State. Calabar is working in Cross River State, Calabar Port, but it's dedicated more to, I think, oil and gas. Lekki Deep Sea Port is done by Lagos, yet the clown, the moron, thought it was only one port that Nigeria had. Anyway, move away from that. Still on Nnamdi Kanu. One of the representatives of the Igbos, his name is Senator Victor Ome. He had this to say, and I'm wondering, do elected officials get to speak up for convicted criminals like this? To be honest, he's a convict and he's a terrorist, according to the case. Until, of course, if the appellate court, maybe dismisses whatever. But for now, we know that he was leading IPOB, and IPOB is a terrorist organization. But here is a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria speaking about the same person. Take a listen to this, and I'll begin to wonder where we are in this country. But take a listen, please.
Has been dealt with terribly, and some people have started losing faith. Some people condemn him now, even from the Igbo nation. But I say I will never condemn him because he was leading a struggle on behalf of all of us against marginalization of Igbo people. No matter how the struggle turns, it is not sufficient for any Igbo man to speak ill of that boy. It's not good. You went on national television and demanded for his release. That is why yes, I do so from time to time, calling for his release. Even when he was sentenced to life imprisonment, I condemned it, speaking, and that's the type of thing you do. To Chief Dan Ikechukwu Olase, who is celebrating his 80th birthday today. You may be wondering why I should be speaking, because Timolase is my very senior elder brother. In 2003 in Anambra State, I was leading the ABGA.
The senator says that the leader of a proscribed organization was fighting for all of them, and it was about marginalization. Apparently, in order to get ahead in politics in the Southeast, you've got to keep repeating that tired narrative that you're being marginalized. Regardless of what you have, you're being marginalized. It's a song that everybody must sing, and it's quite interesting that this is what it has come to. We'll move away from that, and still in the eastern region, IPOB declares Southeast Nigeria safe for Christmas. Calls on Igbo people at home and abroad to visit. We just read the report of what happened yesterday, but again, they're supposed to tell everybody to come back. Let me just read this report from Sarah Reporters. It says IPOB declares, okay, I've already read the headline. According to the group, the Southeast remains Nigeria's most tranquil. According to IPOB,
the Southeast remains Nigeria's most tranquil area.
According to IPOB, the Southeast remains Nigeria's most tranquil area, despite what is described as sponsored instability over the past 4 years. Oh, shock the back on. The indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has called on people of Southeast Nigeria living within and outside Nigeria to travel home in large numbers for the Christmas celebrations, assuring that security across the Southeast has significantly improved. In a statement issued on Sunday, December 7, 2025, and signed by its Media and Publicity Secretary, Comrade Emma Powerful, IPOB said its security arm, the Eastern Security Network, ESN, alongside IPOB volunteers, would ensure the safety of residents and visitors throughout the Yuletide season. According to the group, the Southeast remains Nigeria's most tranquil area, despite what it described as sponsored instability over the past 4 years. IPOB insisted that attempts by unnamed political actors and criminal groups to create fear in the region had failed. Despite all the antics and deadly deeds of hyenas and jackals, why do you always use animals? Are you guys living in a zoo? Anyway, it says, despite all the antics and deadly deeds of hyenas and jackals, the landowners remain present to defend and hold on to their territory. Praise God. The statement said. The eastern region has consistently been secure and will always remain secure since Ndigbo are inherently peaceful. Thus, we urge Ndigbo and their friends wishing to visit Alaibo, Yorubaland, Southeast this Christmas to return home and experience the warmth of the land of the rising sun. IPOB criticized what it called funded and exaggerated media efforts portraying the region as unsafe, acknowledging that while insecurity exists in parts of the Southeast, the situation is far better compared to other parts of Nigeria. The group also dismissed reports circulating online about the purported kidnapping of passengers near Ngokpala along the Owerri-Aba Expressway, describing the footage shared on social media as an old video. Quote, the mentioned kidnapping event was false. The footage of the abduction incident was an old clip that reappeared on social media, IPOB stated. It added that ESN operatives frequently carry out security operations without public attention and warned that ESN has no official social media accounts. The absence of continuous killings and abductions in the eastern region serves as evidence that there are lions guarding the land. Oh, that's why they mentioned hyenas and jackals earlier. Oh, I see. Make of that whatever you will. If you are from the southeast and you want to go home, why am I to stop you? oríṣiríṣi tó kàn ṣẹlẹ̀ Nàìjíríà yìí kí gbogbo rádà àjọ lọ wọ́n says Biafra radio at play.
I mean, if you want to lie, at least you do it small now.
Say it's the most peaceful part of Nigeria. I mean, if you want to lie, at least you do it small now. But I mean, everybody speaks. Maybe it's positive confession, so that's okay. While they are doing their own in the southeast, Kano governor mobilizes 4,444 Quran reciters for prayers against banditry. Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf has cautioned residents against turning security challenges into political issues, emphasizing that the rise in banditry requires unified efforts from everyone, regardless of political leanings. He gave the warning on Saturday night during a special session at the government house where 4,444 Quran memorizers, Ufas, convened to recite the Holy Quran and pray for lasting peace in the state following recent attacks by armed bandits. I mean, prayer is the master key. Let me say it in English. Prayer is the master key. Prayer is important, but I hope this political leaders are looking beyond prayers, Sha. It's good to pray, but we've got to do something more than just pray, because so we go to the east and the south and the north. Well, something terrible also happened in Ondo. Well, it's good because they caught some people who have been kidnapping others. But it turns out that some of them actually happen to Yoruba. Take a listen, please.
And that farm is belong to family, like some acres of farm.
How much did you collect from Alhaji Akiba?
Like 7 billion plus.
Your name?
My name is Ogunremi Olugbunmi. I'm from Ado-Ekiti. I got involved into kidnapping. That's why I'm at the RRS police cell. I started the act of kidnapping January 2021 this year when I met with Samuel. He was one that introduced me to kidnapping, and he said I can drive very well. It's because of my act of driving. That's why I involved you. So and I agreed to participate. So the first kidnap event we went was that of Suleiman Akibami, and the second one was the wife of the late Soviet general. The third one was the man that jumped out from the boots of the vehicle. I don't know his name. And the fourth one was at Akure. He's a pastor. And the fifth one is my uncle's wife, Mrs. Oladende.
How many of you that participated in the crime?
Myself, Samuel, Dayo Igwe, Oro, Banji Oro, Dele Petim, Johnson, Ayolopa, and the person that used to give us the target, I mean the kidnapped victims, is Enfoga. He will tell us that this one is rich. He can pay so amount. He was the one that gave us the work of Akim. Man that jumped out of the boot. He gave us those 3.
You are aware that after the man jumped from the bed, the man died?
I am not aware, but you told me when I got here.
The phone of the man that you kidnapped, that later jumped down from the bed, where is his phone?
I really don't know, because I was the person that drove them to where along Afao Road. So Dele and Samuel came down from the car. I don't know, maybe they threw it away or they buried it. I cannot say specifically, sir.
How much did you collect from the family of Alhaji Akinbami.
Alhaji Akinbami,
èmi ni Igi Adu, mo ń ṣe iṣẹ́ fọganẹ́sà ní ìlú Adó Èkìtì. Ṣùgbọ́n ọmọ bíbí ìlú Ìkẹ́rẹ́ Èkìtì ni mí.
Kí ló wá dé gbígbé dé police station ní RRS office?
Ìgbà tó gbé mi dé police station báyìí ni pé mo mọ ọ̀rẹ́ kan, ó dó gẹ́gẹ́ bí kọ́sọ́mọ̀ fún mi, ó wá ń ṣiṣẹ́ mọ táyà mọ́ṣíìnì ẹ̀ lọ́dọ̀ mi. Òun ló sọ fún mi pé àwọn òun ni mo mọ̀ tó lówó dání, pé gbogbo fọganẹ́sà tí mò ń ṣe pé mi ò ní fẹ́ fi ilẹ̀ tí ń bá cooperate pẹ̀lú òun. Wọ́n porúkọ ẹ̀ ní Délé Pẹ̀tì, òun nìkan ni mo kọ́kọ́ mọ̀. Ìgbà tí mo wá sọ fún pé bàbá Akínbámi ní owó lọ́wọ́ pé mo mọ̀, ó wá ní kí n wá pọ̀ǹtì ẹ̀ fún un. Mo wá pọ̀ǹtì ẹ̀ fún un. Ó tọ́ná.
Listen to the guy who was talking. He mentioned that it was 2020, so it was 4 years ago. Doesn't change the fact that a lot of things that are happening in recent times, everything, people just say things like, oh, it's Fulani herdsmen. And I'm not saying that, of course, there are no herdsmen or there are no bandits or whatever. But it's important for us to not get carried away by, the idea that is always external. Sometimes, it seems that there are many people who like the other guy that just spoke was a vulcanizer. Let's be careful. May God keep us. And also while you're careful of, folks outside trying to do something, don't assume that everybody around you, is kidding. May God keep all of us. I don't want to say more than that. This is not to cause any fear, just to say that it's not everything that we see that's happening from external forces. By the way, there's breaking news from Channels TV. Federal government secures release of 100 school children abducted in Niger State. And I'm going to read that report much later. But that's something, that's good news, Let me read from TVC. Supreme Court slams FG for failing to implement direct LG allocations. The Supreme Court yesterday expressed dissatisfaction with the federal government's failure to implement its July 2024 judgment, directing that local government's share of the Federation account be paid directly to them. The Apex Court noted there was no credible evidence before it that the Attorney General of the Federation had initiated or completed the needed modalities to give effect to its judgment in the case of AG of the Federation and AG of Abia State and others, and urged the authorities to commence implementation of the decision immediately. Quote, in the instant suit, the decision of this court in the case of AG of the Federation and AG of Abia State and others is binding on the defendant, who is to ensure that it is complied with, Justice Mohammed Idris said in his lead judgment. It's quite nice. I just wonder why is the Attorney General of a state doing this? Why are the local governments not taking the federal government to court directly? That's the only question I have. But I think it's good that we're going to have local government autonomy and they should be able to get their money directly from RMAFC. All right. Oh boy. I'm still in office by President Tinubu's special grace. Sorry, special favor. I'm still in office by President Tinubu's special favor, says Rivers Governor Fubara. Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State on Saturday said that he is still serving as the governor of the state after the 6-month emergency rule period because of the quote-unquote special favor of President Bola Tinubu. Fubara made the remarks at the combined 37th and 38th convocation ceremony of the Rivers State University RSU Nkpolu Oroworuko Port Harcourt. where he reiterated his administration's commitment to fully funding the institution and supporting its staff and students. Quote, like you said, a report was given to us, but you all know what happened in the life of our administration. It is only by the grace of God, the special favor from Mr. President, that we are still standing here as the ones presiding over the affairs of Rivers State. That's from Fubar. Moving away from that now, let's jump to the southeast. Oh, no, before we do that, let's read something from Riley Moore, who visited from the United States of America. That's the American congressman. Put two press releases out. One, it says, I came to Nigeria in the name of the Lord and on behalf of the American people, just ending a very productive congressional visit to Nigeria. It was in Benue State, by the way. It says, just ending a very productive congressional visit to Nigeria. We had rounds of meetings with the Nigerian government and people on the ground, including stops in Benue State. More details to come. Happy Sunday. God is great. Then he said, another post, I want to thank National Security Advisor Noah Ribadu for a productive and positive conversation with the U.S. congressional delegation to Nigeria. There were concrete steps and actions discussed at length. Thank you for the gift. Thanks a lot, Jake's boy. By the way, if you're on TikTok, please click on the heart icon and drop heart me if you're a member. If you're not a member, please join. Let's try and push the live together to the FYP. But please don't stop our tapping. Thank you. Riley Moore says there were concrete steps and actions discussed at length that, if fully executed, I believe will enhance security across the country. I'll tell that again. I believe will enhance security across the country for all Nigerians, disrupt and destroy terrorist organizations in the Northeast, and stop the killing of Christians. A specific concern for President Donald Trump and myself, particularly in the middle belt of the country. I want to thank the Nigerian government and President Bola Tinubu for rescuing the 100 innocent and precious Catholic school children. This is a positive demonstration of the government's increasing response to the security situation and shows commitment to the emergency declaration laid out by President Tinubu. The U.S.'s sense of urgency and our concerns was positively received. One second.
The U.S.'s sense of urgency and our concerns was positively received. I feel that a cooperative...
The U.S.'s sense of urgency and our concerns was positively received. I feel that a cooperative security framework is within sight. The now established joint task force between Nigeria and the U.S. is a great example. It is clear that there's an openness and willingness on the part of the Nigerian government to work with the United States to tackle these critical issues. Now, that openness has to translate to concrete action. Peace be with you all. God bless the great people of Nigeria. So apparently, we don't have any guns blazing anytime soon, which we are very, very happy about. There are many reports now talking about armed forces rescuing 100 Niger school children and also foiling the Benin coup. We should be proud of our armed forces. We got to keep helping them. Very quick one from BBC. 100 students from Niger State School abduction regain their freedom. The chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria for Niger State, Bishop Bulus Dawa Yohana, and the Niger State Commissioner of Police, Adamu Abdullahi Eleman, have told BBC that they have received information that security forces have rescued 100 abducted students from St. Mary's Catholic School from Papiri. So that's actually very, very, very good news, and we should be happy about that. All right, moving to another part of Nigeria now. We're going to bring people up very soon. I just want to read a few more news items, and I'll bring people up later. Okay, let's do this one first. A retired Major General, Ali Kefi, has linked terror suspects and financiers to powerful Nigerians, and I think it's best to listen to him say some of these things because a lot of things that he said are very, very explosive in nature. But let's listen to him and then we can pick whatever it is that we can pick from it. Take a listen, please.
family members and the rest surrendered, and 5 other key guys. And as a matter of fact, that intelligence was given to us by the United Arab Emirates. I'll come to that later, perhaps.
Yeah, we'll come to that later because
when we picked those guys from March 2021, that was what led to that disintegration of Boko Haram. You may have noticed, or Nigerians who were aware at that time, Boko Haram ran into a lot of difficulties. There was massive surrendering. They and their family members and the rest surrendered. And that was even what paved the way to us getting Shekau. Shekau's death was engineered really by us. I mean, the intelligence agencies that worked as part of the Operation Service Wide. And one must commend the military intelligence, that's the army aspect of it, late General Kulia, who died in that ill-fated plane, not crash, I would say, but in explosion in that
with the COAS,
with the late Chief Army Staff General Tahiru. He we gave the intelligence, was part of the OSW, and he did that. But significantly, when you take out the leadership, you decapitate the organization terrorist group, and you render them ineffective. That was what we did, and you saw those mass surrender of Boko Haram leadership led to the death of Shekau all the way through 2021 and until perhaps 2022 when they made the disastrous mistake of, I believe, releasing those leaders that were arrested. But it is a significant
step in the arrest of these
and I
leaders.
commend the National Security Advisor, the DSS, and other security agencies.
The same thing you've just said. I mean, significant step, extraordinary success, UK and US commending the FG over the arrest. What's the import of this particular commendation from the UK and the US?
It's very significant, very, very significant, very important, and we should be proud as a nation. I mean, the United States, United Kingdom, have been our partners in the fight against terrorism. I say this even when in service, when I was in the military as director of training, we had significant support from the British military.
Do you speak English?
More or less.
Many ways, and also in the counterinsurgency in terms of intelligence sharing and the rest, they've been they supported us a lot, shared intelligence. Like I earlier said, even the arrest of those leadership that the Operation Service Wide OSW achieved, it was with significant contribution from the United Arab Emirates. They shared those intelligence, like the leader of that Boko Haram. I mean, the sum of about $431 million US, right, was sent to him or wired to him for Boko Haram, which was used. This intelligence was shared to us by the United Arab Emirates, and the OSW, like I said, we had the DSS, we had the NFIU, we had the military intelligence, we had DIA, NIA.
All right, let me get into, because you're already branching into it. So let me get into terror financing, and then I'll come to the OSW you talked about.
Yeah.
For you, successive administrations have paid lip service to unmasking prominent Nigerians allegedly financing terror and oil theft. Why do you hold this view? Allegedly so. And do you know, I mean, one would ask whether you know them. If true, what do you think is responsible for the past administration's attitude, regarding this so-called financiers of terror?
Okay, thank you very much again for this brilliant question. Now, let me relate to my experience, right, as the commander of the Operation Service Wide, which was an intelligence-driven outfit. Now, like I said, we picked the main leaders and other facilitators, financiers, sponsors, and this. And then we commenced investigation.
By picked, you mean you arrested?
Arrested, captured, arrest, you know. Now, we picked them. That is, it was a collaborative effort, you know, those elements that I mentioned. And investigation was ongoing, and the investigation team was made up of representatives from the Department of State Services, from the Defense Intelligence Agency, from the military police, that's the army aspect of it, from the NFIU, the investigation, and it revealed so much. And like I earlier said, right, certain intelligence was shared. We were collaborating with about 33 countries in Europe, Western Europe, Asia, and other distant were collaborating with us on this. Now, in the course of the investigation, I mean, we stumbled upon names of individuals, prominent individuals, and some of them are still prominent, and including the owner of an airline who was ferrying weapons allegedly for Boko Haram and other reasons. So those information, we took our concern, made our concern known, the investigation in terms of interim listening to the powers that be at the time. And some of those people were linked to even cabinet ministers. Some of the people were even arrested. Some of the people who were investigating were linked to them. Were linked to senior military retired now of generals and the rest, just linked to many prominent distant. And in the course of our investigation, I mean, we now, let me just add also, we had 3 representatives from the Attorney Generals of the Federation Office, that's Minister of Justice, that were with us to guide us while we were making the case, so that because ultimately the Office of the Attorney General was to prosecute
those you arrest.
Right. Now, but as the thing progressed, I mean, we started noticing some kind of how should I put it? We noticed some kind of hesitation. I mean, things started coming up like, okay, some of these people, I mean, it would be difficult to pin terrorism financing on them, perhaps money laundering. I mean, look, then you started getting some calls that some people, you know, prominent that you should release, so person is not this and that, something. As the commander, I made my concern known to the president, late President Muhammad Buhari. I made it known. I said, so listen, and I recall on one occasion, he stood up, very angry. He said, General, I appointed you as the commander of Operation Service Wide. You report to me and to me alone. That was his exact words to me. General Muhammad Buhari, a great man. I mean, of course, he had his shortcomings. I was very angry when the whole thing happened, and I mean, he didn't even raise a finger to this thing. But I later came to realize, you know, that perhaps he was misled. Perhaps
the truth is, this matter is long, and there are some names you can't just mention in public. That's the truth. That's the truth. You know, recently, I watched an interview where a member of the House of Representatives, Honorable Jimmy Benson, who happens to be the chairman of the House Committee on Defense, they were talking about the people financing terrorism in Nigeria, and even he was very careful about sharing the names, because, to be honest, there's certain information that the public doesn't really need. But if you really know those people, you should go after them and, you know, just get the issue sorted. Interestingly, it was on Arise, that's Honorable Jimmy Benson, and he had this to say. Please take a listen to him. It's shorter than the other one, don't worry, but take a listen, please.
Financiers, you don't try them in public. If you know the financiers, you don't try them in public. A lot of them are being under the scrutiny. They've been under the scrutiny for a long while.
No.
But these are not
trial is different from tracking
by scrutiny.
Yeah,
I mean trial. I mean identified.
Yeah, but why is it hidden?
Yes, some of them local, international. Right? So trust me, it's not as if the government is not doing anything. The government has done a lot. In recent times, under the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a lot is being done. A lot of them can't even ever think of financing anybody anymore.
Yeah, but
so
who are these people?
Work is in progress.
Who are these people? Why can't we know who they are?
No, the security.
I don't understand how you mean security.
You don't put their names.
If somebody is a criminal and is killing people and has led to the deaths of people, it is a major success for the government if that person is brought to book.
Yeah,
and it shows the rest of us that the government is doing.
A responsible government would also showcase that person at the appropriate time.
And when might that be?
Very soon. Very, very, very soon. Trust me, work is in progress. The government is working. They're tracking
in Nigeria, going by nature of their weapons, starts from Sheikh Gumi. Controversial Kaduna-based Islamic cleric Sheikh Ahmed Abubakar Gumi has alleged that some major foreign powers are backing armed groups and terrorist networks operating across Nigeria, warning that the recent surge in deadly attacks is too coordinated to be local. Speaking in an interview with BBC Hausa, Gumi claimed the sudden escalation of violence after months of relative calm suggests the invisible hands of foreign actors with the capacity and resources to destabilize the country. According to him, the pattern of attacks in recent days is a clear signal that external forces are fueling Nigeria's insecurity. I'll just jump a few paragraphs. Gumi linked the renewed bloodshed to international conversations about Nigeria. Quote, "There was a statement made by some foreign nations, and for long we have suspected these terrorists and extremists. And from the nature of their weapons, we realize they receive support, foreign support. These are powerful and wealthy individuals who have the means to penetrate and interfere with the affairs of other nations." End of quote. Some of this information, you don't really know what to do with it because, you hear these things and you wonder, so what do we do with that? But there's good news, by the way. And the good news is, at least this happened in Ondo State. Amotekun parades 5 suspects, rescues kidnapped victims after intense forest clash. The Ondo State Security Network Agency, known as Amotekun, has presented 5 suspects accused of involvement in crimes ranging from kidnapping and attempted abduction to fraud. The agency also confirmed the successful rescue of kidnapped victims following a fierce gun battle in the forest. I like this one because it's hopeful. The other one is information we can't do anything with. But this one, people are doing something. Take a listen to what happened in the exchange between the Amotekun operatives and the suspects they arrested. Take a listen.
Hello. Tí mo fẹ́ bọ́ sílẹ̀ láti escape láti máa sá lọ, èyí tó wà lẹ́yìn mi bó ṣe fún mi níbi láti ẹ̀yìn.
All right. Essentially, they paraded this. Okay.
5 suspects. One on law, breaking of law and order. 4 on kidnapping-related cases. On entering the forest reserve where the incident took place, they were confronted and attacked very heavily. At the end of the day, we were able to rescue 4 of the 5 people in the bus that was waylaid and kidnapped. Unfortunately, in an attempt to stop the bus, we heard that they shot the driver first. So the driver died.
All right, that's from Ondo State. We're rounding up the news section now, so I'm going to bring people up in a bit. Imo seals hotel mortuary over organ harvesting activities, mutilated corpses. The Imo State government has sealed a hotel and private mortuary in Umuhu community, Ngo Okpala, after discovering decomposed and mutilated corpses in unhygienic conditions, raising suspicions of illegal organ harvesting activities. The development was disclosed in a statement on Sunday by Henry Okoye, the state police spokesperson. Okoye said the operation was part of a crackdown on kidnapping and violent crimes along the Owerri-Aba Expressway, led by Aboki Danjuma, the Commissioner of Police, alongside other stakeholders. That's from the cable, but here is a video of the spokesperson speaking up. Take 1 second. I want you to listen to it very clearly. All right, this is an interview of the police spokesperson. Take a listen, please.
But we know while you are here this afternoon, what's the purpose of your coming to this place?
Okay, good afternoon, members of the press. We received an intelligence report that unregistered mortuary is being discovered in this vicinity. His Excellency delegated the Commissioner for Health, the local government chairperson of Ngo Okpala. Myself, I came to represent the Inspector General of Police. We visited this place. We saw scattered corpses, mutilated corpses in this environment. What we have seen, the corpses that we discovered are more than 100. And the owner of the mortuary is on the run. We sent for him, he refused to come. And severally, we mounted surveillance, whether we'll be able to get him, he's on the run. And by the information we gathered, they use this place in dumping the corpses of what they call organs harvest. Organs harvest. And we are appealing on members of the public, whoever that have corpse here, to come forward, because His Excellency wants to unveil who and who are running this unauthorized mortuary. Because it's been in existing, it's now that we discover it, and by His grace, we arrest the suspects, and he's going to face the full wrath of the law. Thank you.
But are you by this answer declaring him wanted?
We have already declared him wanted. He's on the road. We do not see anybody here. And this health hazard, and by His grace, the Commissioner of Health is here, the pathologist is here. We may soon make a mass burial.
Okay. I mean, they're everywhere, and the place is supposed to be a mortuary, so people are talking about organ harvesting in Imo State. Last news report, I'll bring people up if we have others who want to contribute, or I'll just read your comments. Cable index, the 6 geopolitical zones, what they contributed to the VAT pool in October 2025 versus what they received. The Southwest contributed 333.01 billion naira, and we only received 91.88 billion. The South-South contributed 80.48 and received 53.79. At least they received about 66% of what they contributed. We received only 27.59%. The Northwest contributed 41.82 billion and received 64.07 billion. So it's 153% of what they contributed. North Central contributed 20.51 billion naira and received 44.32 billion naira. That's about 216% of what they contributed. Northeast contributed 18.94 billion naira and received 44.17. That's 233%. 233.21%. Southeast contributed 13.26 billion naira and received 36.91 billion. That's 278%. So when you look at it, the Southwest contributed 333.01 billion and received only 91. So the way it is, Southwest is contributing the most in this country, followed by South-South, Northwest, North Central, and just like we've always been saying, Northeast, where you have banditry and you have Boko Haram, contributed more to the VAT pool than the Southeast. Southeast contributed the least, and in terms of percentage, they have received the most, but they're the ones crying of being marginalized. If this is what marginalization means, then maybe everybody should be marginalized though. Anambra in October contributed 5.75 billion and received 8.45. Ebonyi 2.5 billion contributed, received 6.56. Enugu contributed 2.44, received 7.34. Abia 1.3, received 6.89. Imo 1.24 contribution, receiving 7.67 billion naira. It's amazing the way folks in the Southeast talk about being marginalized. They are receiving much more, way more than what they are contributing. And I think it's important that we begin to say these things so that people don't run away with this whole thing. For instance, let me compare that with Lagos State and with the Southwest. Lagos State contributed 286.24 but received 48.96 billion. Oyo contributed 31.64 and received only 12.89. Not even up to half of what it produced, received about 40%. So the point is, even Ekiti, that people always insult, Ekiti had more than the states in the Southeast, had 5.99 billion naira in terms of contribution to the pool. Someone says they will color your brown roof. Yes, the brown roof actually has more relevance in national economics than all the mansions put together in Alaigbo. I mean, we can even talk to our own governors that we have to do better in the Southwest. But it's just amazing that the region that contributes the least and receives the most is the one that claims to be marginalized. It's insanity. That's all for today's news. We're going to bring people up to, if we have anybody who wants to contribute, and then we'll get to today's topic itself. We'll be reading a number of books. So just wait for a couple of seconds, or I'll begin to read the comment sections across the different platforms. Let's see what's up on Facebook and YouTube. And then we'll go to today's topic, the evolution of Christianity in Yorubaland, part 4. It's going to be a very interesting session. You're going to like it. Just going to check our platforms to see what's going on, and then I can read your comments. Dami Shola says, I like listening to you. You are quite knowledgeable and you speak with very valuable facts. So back it up. Keep it up, bro. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for those kind words. Let's go on YouTube very quickly. I really want to get to today's topic. All right. Good evening, Akado. Good evening, esteemed. Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. T-Max says, you already explained ethnicity angle. Then IPOB. Okay, let's just leave this IPOB matter. All right. I think we can go to today's topic now. So I saw one person raising their hand earlier. Caris events. Utojometa Shewa. Only comrade. I see. You know what? Let's take like a few minutes break. Let's invite some people up. we'll get some responses, and then we'll move to teaching. So I can use that to take a short break, very short break. Oli of South London, good to see you. I think you greeted me earlier. I'm not sure if I responded, but thank you for being here. All right. The books. Yes, let's have some reactions and then we'll move on to other things. Good evening, Comrade Olaleko. Please go on.
Good evening, sir.
Hello,
good evening, sir.
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yes, sir.
Ọlọ́run á túbọ̀ bá wa fún yín ní okun àtagbára.
Àmín o.
Ọlọ́run bàbá wa dúró tì yín o. Ọlọ́run ní kí yín sílẹ̀. Kò ní rẹ ìgbàgbọ́ yín, kò ní rẹ àlàáfíà yín o.
Àmín.
Àránṣẹ́ yín náà kò ní rẹ. Actually, nǹkan tá a máa ń sọ gbogbo ìgbà ni pé nǹkan tẹ́ gbé dání yìí iṣẹ́ àwọn bàbá wa ni. So ìwúrí dẹ̀ ló jẹ́ wípé coming around here we learn a lot all the time. Àwọn nǹkan tẹ́ ń fún wa yìí, àwọn nǹkan tá a rí kọ́gbà tá a wá sùn gan ni. Glory be to God. I really want to appreciate you, and we cannot even appreciate you enough. Honestly, we can't appreciate you enough. Kọ́lọ́n bá wa dúpẹ́ fún yín, Kọ́lọ́n bá wa kí yín ju bá a ṣe kí yín lọ. Mo kàn fẹ́ tún opportunity kí n fi kí yín náà ni. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Really enjoy
Thank
you.
you.
Kọ́lọ́n jẹ́ kẹ́yìn náà lè gbádùn ayé ju báyé ṣe ń gbádùn yín lọ. Thank you.
Àmín.
Well done, bro.
Àmín. Ẹ ṣeun. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Ẹ ṣé gan. Thank you, sir. Caris Events. Ẹ kúrò lẹ́ o. User, I'll answer your question in a bit. Erasa, Shewa.
In fact, even when we go half of what you have said today on the line, because I was in there, because the weather is.
Oh, your time.
Yeah, the weather is very cold, and my kids are a bit. This thing, they couldn't go to school today, so I have to also watch over them.
Yeah.
But I know that right from the beginning, you were giving us the current affairs news. One of the things that I heard is about the Benin Republic coup attempt, and I think I quickly made a comment in there that why wouldn't Baba he couldn't do that one for Niger Republic, which I believe you mentioned. You gave the reason that was probably due to ethnic coloration, because if you can do Benin, there's nothing stopping us from doing Niger Republic, but they are both our neighbors. And instability in those areas definitely will have impact, devastating impact on our own economy, especially up north there. And I know I was around that period that they were carrying placards all around, inviting Russia and all these people, and they were being supported by their elites. So that's where I felt that, if it can happen in one region, if you can protect one part of the region of our country, why can't we do that? Baba should be able to enforce his authority, no matter who source is God, And with I believe that what Trump actually did recently with his statement and in threat was what actually jiggered him to. That pushed him in a way. Because if that thing didn't have any impact, they would have been going to America to go and be making requisition and giving the reason why they have to support us. So. Impact, statement Trump will give me a last one will carry a lot of weight. But a lot of people disagree with that it didn't have any impact. But to me personally, I think it did. Because if you hadn't done that, maybe you would not even have the courage to do that, to do all those things he's doing now, attacking some other places and carrying out security surveillance in major areas where there are so much conflict. So I think it's an opportunity for him now to take advantage of this situation, no matter whose house is God, especially in the north, whatever they want to do. He can even use that excuse to deal with every region, including the IPOP people who have been the one instigating all this nonsense in the United States. So I think that's where I stand. I don't know what your opinion is in that area. Definitely, Baba needs to He needs to enforce his stand, make his stand known, make his impact felt in security area. What I also suggest is that most of these things that are happening right now, the kidnappings and all those things that are happening, those things are happening in the northern region. What does that suggest to us? It's saying that these people are trying to do what? Sabotage him. When they sabotage government, nobody is on leading. One call $2,000. Nobody $2,000 leading. One call $1,000. What does that? What does that tell us? It says something is actually happening. And with the suspect, I don't know whether you noticed that. Àwọn other camp yẹn, àwọn Obi and Co yẹn, none of them, but they kept quiet. That means
because they really want the coup by all means. They support that kind of intervention. It's insane.
They have been dead silence, as if they were in the mortuary, nothing. I've got to curious almost every day of his life by he. There's no day to give a statement. You know. But since they've been silent, I don't know, maybe they have other strategies they've been planning now, which they will have. So I'm just imploring, I hope there are people in the government that will be listening. They have to do something. The other thing is, even the new Minister of Defense, to appointing him, is a very good positive sense for him. You know, somebody coming from a career, now being elevated as a technocrat, not belonging to any party, who also wants the development of the nation and safety of the nation, you know. So that's what I feel. Let's go.
Thank you very much, Sam. I really appreciate that. Someone says Agbotikuyo, that was so funny. Well, that's the name people call. You know who. If you don't know, then you will know. But thank you very much for that submission, and I agree with much of what you said. And I like what the president is doing, to be honest. And I also noticed that certain people in Nigeria, once they hear the word coup, around on the day, they really want to see something happen. For some reason, they prefer coups as a way of, they're looking for a benevolent dictator. They will never find it in Nigeria. They will find it maybe in their own part of the country, but not in Nigeria as a whole. Well, thank you for that submission. Let's go to Concilium Preventers. Good evening.
Good evening, Sal.
Sal. Shower.
So, I want to answer a question that was raised last week. I was a bit busy, so I couldn't really address it. A question about this court case, this Nnamdi Kanu court case. The matter was succinctly addressed by Justice Omotosho, because what they are saying right now is that, okay, I have my own feelings about it anyway. They put evidence before you, prosecution has laid out their case. Okay, defend yourself. A group of people are saying that, and I agree with them, that for him to defend himself, he has to deny some of the things he said. And that is virtually impossible for him to do, because he's damned if he does, he's damned if he doesn't. If he defends himself against it, then people say, so everything you said before, you lied or you were just talking. And if he agrees to it, that means that he's guilty. So there was no way for him to run to. So he had to do what? Start all this drama about, I don't want anybody to defend me. So your case is dead in the water. If you want to lean your case against the prosecution's case, you're dead in the water. But that's, by the way, if you want to read the judgment and see all the issues that we said was not addressed, it was all addressed. I read the judgment. All of it was addressed. The man was very, very, very thorough in the way he addressed every issue he raised, even the issues he raised in court. Doesn't matter. Going on to the coup matter, we have these people above us now, as in Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, and even Chad. To a large extent, they're all ruled by military. And the truth of the matter is that those countries are dead. All the propaganda that they are pushing, that this man is doing well, that man is doing well, let them, they are landlocked. So they are in one fell swoop, they can all be managed one way or the other. If they are taking Benin, that are giving them access to the sea. But unfortunately for them, that was nipped in the bud. The truth about it is that at least if you are over 40, you will remember military men ruling this country I'm sorry to say it. The reason why this country is this backward is because those guys ruled this country. These young men did not know what they were doing 40, 50 years ago. The gentleman can stand in front of you now. If he's been honest with himself, he will tell you the truth about what he was 40, 50, 60 years ago. They didn't know what they were doing. So we now want to give our country over to the same set of people. Because I read this man that just retired, was just sworn in as defense minister. He was called to it was inaugurated or whatever into the army in 1991. What the hell are you telling me? A man that young, he can fool people. Obviously, a lot of people. How many years now have we been in democracy now? 26 years, right?
Oh, sorry, what do you mean he can fool people? Are you talking about the new Minister of Defense?
You are a middle-aged man. You know very well that a lot of us.
He was born in 1967, though.
Yeah, so he was inaugurated into the army in 1991. What I'm telling you is this: I want to let you work with our Lots of younger people can be fooled by the rhetoric of only the army can do. But we that have lived through Obasanjo, Murtala Mohammed, Obasanjo, Buhari, Babangida. We know who these people are. They are mismanagers. They don't know how to do anything other than tell you that, oh, we are doing this today, we are doing that tomorrow. NCA now becomes a propaganda machine. They don't know how to do anything. The mess we're in right now is because of them. Look at that railway thing that SWDC is trying to do now. Imagine them letting that thing die. You can still see tracks of that thing in Jokoro, even in the middle of Ibadan. You can still see rail tracks that nobody's using. These people allowed this thing to die because of mismanagement, and you don't want us to go back to that time. That's by the way. The truth of the matter is that they can fool a lot of younger people because a lot of people now, anybody under 35 years of age now, to be honest with you, I unlock you. And the truth about it is that they haven't really experienced military rule. They never really saw it. But our university, I'm sorry, Kidini. Strike, how many years? Part 1, but university. Almost 3 years more, part 1. Part 1. Yes, we're still in part 1. You know now. Why are you laughing? You know. You have to Jawa. All for what? People want us to go back to that time. Democracy.
I apologize. That was too funny.
Democracy or that. We know that it is far better than any military rule because those guys were just stealing money, hand over fist. They were just stealing it, and nobody could question them. Nobody could question them. If they wanted to audit every military head of every military administrator of every state right now, what are you talking about?
True.
What are you talking about? It is irresponsible for anybody to not say that, oh, a coup is what is the next step for us to go to. Why? But that's all. I'm very sorry for being this passionate, but I hear things like this and I'm very angry. Niger is not doing well. Mali is not doing well. Niger is not doing well. Mali is not doing well. They are landlocked nations. Meanwhile, they have internal strife in those nations because most of at least 30% of their landmass is Sahara Desert, and nobody can live there. Meanwhile, they have all these Tuaregs that are fighting them. Meanwhile, those Tuaregs were being serviced by Libya before, by Muammar Gaddafi. And ever since the genesis of this Boko Haram thing started when Muammar Gaddafi was killed. I said it then in 2012 on Facebook. I just left Facebook after that. I said then in 2012 that this is the beginning of because these people, when they are done, they will Talama Kobosi, soft underbelly, Nigeria. Guns were just going round. That's about it. So let's look. With Nnamdi Kanu's matter, oh my God, yes, his appeal, whatever. Let me hold my tongue. Let me hold my tongue as a lawyer. I'm not supposed to be very brash and rash. His appeal will fail. Always time around. But the truth of the matter is that if he wants a political solution, he needs to start acting right. I think that's what the governor went to meet him for. I'm not sure, but that's what they went to meet him for. But the man himself is too headstrong and too proud. He wants to give him a soft landing. Nobody's going to give you a soft landing unless you admit to the rubbish you were doing before. And that's something he cannot afford to do. That's something he cannot afford to do. But that's what anyway. Thank you very much for your time. I'm very grateful.
Thank you very much, Constitution Preventers. How true the things you've said, man. But it was very funny when you said, and they say, part 1. I mean, I think To be fair, number one, if you're younger than 40 and you talk about wanting a coup, I can almost understand that you don't even, maybe you don't know, I mean, clearly you don't know better. It's the older ones that just make me feel like some people don't acquire any wisdom with age. Like, how on earth would you want to return to military dictatorship? How many have worked? And by the way, the idea that something is happening in Burkina Faso, Burkina Faso is doing better in the minds of Nigerians than in the minds of Burkina Base. I don't know where they got those people from on Twitter. They know everything that's happening in Burkina Faso, but what's really happening in Burkina Faso? They're always shouting how great Traore is. I don't know how any sane person, especially even if you don't see anything, if you pack sawdust and you created that special stove under Abacha, there's no way on earth they should be clamoring for, But it is what it is. To be honest, someone wrote up there, I think it was Dr. Badru, that the mindset of those who want coup in Nigeria is Kakaki Ekuma JSS, Afish Awadano. For the most part, people, you couldn't win, so you destroy everything that the person who won has so that you can be at the same level and you can now, quote unquote, start all over again afresh. And what they don't understand is this: if you start all over afresh 200 times, you will still lose. Why? You are not wired to win. You don't understand what it takes to win. The people who understand what it takes to win, see, even when they lose, they still carry themselves with an understanding of winners, even if they lose, because they understand losing or failing is just an event. They'll try again. But these ones, failure is not an event for them. They have internalized it to the point where they act like failures. Any small thing, they are looking for a savior. When America was coming, everybody was, America is coming to save us. Now that Riley Moore came to Nigeria and put out a statement, it's as if you pour cold water on them. Now they are feeling very bad. Like, they really wanted Trump to come, just like I said, guns are blazing, just blow up everywhere. They want destruction. They don't really want Nigeria to develop. They want everywhere to scatter. So it's going to be like their own place. Everybody will not be at the same level. We'll now start together again. And here's the point. Even if we all start together again 1 billion times, you will always be lower. Why? Your mindset. It's the mindset of a failure. You want everywhere to be destroyed. You want to have military. Okay, what if you have a military dictator? By the way, you cannot have military dictators and be doing what we are doing on social media. I hope people understand this thing. You know what journalists went through in the hands of all these organs, soldier, military head of states. And all of us are now journalists now. Everybody's using social media. You know what's going to happen? You think I can just talk? Like recently, there's a boy who was saying all kinds of things about Senator Nedun Woko, lying, saying that he had consulted or contracted him to unalive his wife, said all kinds of things, bold stuff. And then as soon as people started taking notice, he now started saying, I was just joking, he's an orphan. Like, do you really understand? Say this on last probably take you to court. They'll pick you up now. They'll pick you up, you are gone. And what they want is actually what can kill them. There's no freedom of anything. Freedom of all this freedom. Have you noticed that most of the people? Thank you, Dr. Badger. I was even going to talk about that book. Maybe one of these is a very good book. The book he recommended in the comment section. Babafemi Ojuju, Adventure of Guerrilla Journalism. By the way, you can get that book on Redomi Books on Telegram. I have the book. It's a very great book. For a journalist. Maybe we should, maybe we should be reading things like this. I don't know. We have a session where I just bring that book and just read. Maybe we should look at things from their perspective. I mean, we were citizens, we saw it, but they were the ones, newsmen, journalists, being hunted about all over the place. People like Daira Barisa, people like Festus, I can't remember his surname now, Adedayo. Mr. Festus Adedayo. People that were being hunted just because they were publishing news. Not that they were lying, no. This is not defamation, no. The days of Tell magazine.
Just because they
or people that were even killed
The most popular lawyers in the 1990s
just because they decided to tell the truth. Have you noticed that the most popular lawyers in the 1990s were human rights lawyers? Why? The most popular lawyers when I was growing up were human rights lawyers.
was the order of the day.
Because human rights abuse was the order of the day.
I don't know what.
Yes, Zedekiwa was killed.
Somehow, when they have this.
I don't know what's making people think that somehow when they have this dictator is going to be a benevolent one. What if it's not? You just be jumping from fry pan to fire. You are building something. Excuse me. You've not given yourself time to build. We've not built this thing for up to 30 years, by the way. Democracy as it is in Nigeria, this Fourth Republic is not up to 30 years. You now sit there in one place. Compare yourself with America that's going to be 250 years next year. No time to grow, no time to develop. As soon as it's not working, you scatter everywhere, and then you start all over again. Every generation starts all over again. That's a curse. Even the soldiers now begin to wonder, this is not the first coup, not the second, third, fourth. Do you know how many coups we've had in this country? We had, let's just run through that. We had January 1966, that was the first one. Second was July 66. We had a third in 76, right? Where 75, 76, when Murtala Mohammed came into play, and then 71 was removed. Was it 76? Murtala was removed. Obasanjo became Obasanjo became head of state. By 79, we had the president, Shehu Shagari. By 83, we had Buhari, December 83. By 85, we had IBB. By 95, we had, what's the name of this guy? Abacha. And then 98, thereabout, we had Abubakar. When you look at all this one, I mean, you look at all, that's like 8 regimes. You wonder sometimes, like, okay, I mean, I'm not saying they didn't do anything, but what exactly is it that they did that makes people wish to have that? Like, is there a specific thing that was so grand about all this? No, I'm not talking about all the coups. I'm talking about the ones that were successful. Yeah, I see Gideon Oka 1990. Thank you. I'm talking about the ones that were successful. When you go through it, like when you look at all these regimes, what exactly is so beautiful about what they did that makes you want to, that makes you desire to have another one of, I mean, because we have not had a benevolent dictator. We've had dictators. Some have been good, some not so good. I'm not saying all of them are bad. I mean, some of them are good, to be honest. When you look at the work of, at least in the beginning, Go On. That was actually quite good, so that people don't really send him. Some people also like Murtala. You know what? People like all of them for different reasons. You know, but the point is, I don't know one particular thing that any of them did that would make me want to crave a return to military dictatorship. That's the issue. I mean, you can say he did this one, he did this one. Anybody could have done it. What particular thing? No shit. If not that we had military government, this would not have been done. Let's have another one. None. Nothing. So what's with this? And how many governments have we even had? How many years? 1990. This is just 27. First Republic, 27 years. 26 years. Be 27 next May. 26 years. And then this month we'll be hearing in Senate climb. Senate climb that is 250 years. Or to properly say it's 249. July was just a couple of months ago. You're comparing yourself, you're not allowing yourself to breathe or grow or even change the structure. Create a structure for yourself that will make you actually grow. Maybe not as slow as 240. I mean, you can cover it in one generation. I believe you can cover this thing in one generation. That's what I believe. And it's not just a belief, it's what I've also observed in my studies. China did it in one generation. This whole thing we're talking about, China started in the 1970s, one generation. Singapore did it in one generation. South Korea did it in one generation. So it's not totally impossible, but the core, what will make it happen is not to have a soldier or a military guy that come and take all over. It's about creating the kind of structure that makes it work. And here's the crazy part, and I'm going to say it. I'm going to just put it out there. I was having a conversation with somebody over the weekend, and they're talking about military dictatorship, and sit tight government. And I said, if I ask you, let me even ask you guys, if I ask you, especially those ones who want a military dictator, a benevolent dictator, to allow the president of Nigeria now to be there for longer than 2 terms, what do you think they will say? This is somebody who is structured in his thinking. He's thinking of the economy. He's thinking of the structure of the nation. He's thinking of, getting us on our feet and running. He's doing the right things. I don't want to tell you what I think about it, to be honest, but I have my opinion about what I think Tinubu should be doing. But we don't really care. Someone says, Matt Vision says continuity in governance will make it work. See Lagos now, 25 years after Tinubu. Exactly. There's continuity, there's growth. There is no growth because we're not allowing, it to happen. But I hope that you can't come over. We're about to get into today's topic. Okay, you can do 2 minutes. Okay, you can do 2 minutes each, but it has to be strictly 2 minutes, if you don't mind. Strictly 2 minutes. I'll take everyone now, because interestingly, I was about to say the last thing before moving to the topic, but I've been seeing a number of people, so I'm going to take those who are up here down. Thank you very much, Concilium, Caris Events. I was going to say Charlie, Caris Events, and Olekan Eshego. Thank you very much. I'm going to bring some people up now, but please, you're going to have to stick to 2 minutes because I want us to get into today's topic.
All right. So those
all right.
Who send their request, I'm going to bring you up. Please, as soon as I
Eshe, thank you, sir. All right. So those who send their request, I'm going to bring you up. Please, as soon as I do so, kindly mute. As soon as you get up, mute so that we don't have.
Just 2 minutes. Strictly 2 minutes. So we can move on.
Just 2 minutes, strictly 2 minutes, so that we can move on. All right. Let's start with Henry. Good evening. All right, I guess Harry is not available. Hello, Collins. Mr. Collins, good evening.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay, Henry, please go on. Since you already started speaking. Let's try and time ourselves, please. I'm going to time 2 minutes, please.
Okay, but see, I really appreciate the work you're doing. Seriously.
Thank you.
I was on the platform this afternoon because I just can't imagine why these people do keep shouting. Why will the president intervene in the coup? I was just imagining, and just imagine 90% of those who are there are the Igbos shouting like Canaan. Seriously, I can't just imagine. So a lot of, in short, not only Igbos, there are people outside the countries that are on that platform, and they're washing their dirty linens outside. And tabawule wo gbogbo nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí, àwọn náà èyí tó pọ̀ jù ní àwọn náà fọwọ́ ara wọn fà. Tó jẹ́ pé èyí tó ń ṣe òun ló pọ̀ jù ńbẹ̀. Now wọ́n ní pé kí other person yẹn kó wọlé. Tí other person bá wọlé, kí lòun lè ṣe tájú nǹkan tí bàbá ń ṣe lọ́wọ́. That's just the truth. And they are being tribalistic. The only thing is it because it's your Yoruba person that is there? It's because of your Yoruba person that is there. That's the only thing they can bring out of every of the topic. And at the end of the day, bí a ṣe ń lọ yìí, mo sure pé we can be one in this country. Mo sure pé a lè jẹ́ ẹyọ̀kan, because everyone with their own opinion, pé tí o bá ti jẹ́ èèyàn tèmi ló wà ń bẹ̀, kò lè ṣeé ṣe. Of which, if we're having that kind of idea, this country is not going to move forward. That's just the truth. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. And you're even very, very fast. And I agree with you 100%. And that's why we have to have a better structure. And I think the present everything looks like it's going to happen sooner rather than later, especially with what we see with the regional development commissions that we all have now. So thank you very much for bringing that up. I'm trying not to speak too long. Let's go to Collins. Good evening, Mr. Collins Bamidele. I think he's unavailable, so go to another person. Shu. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Good evening.
Yeah. Good evening. Thank you very much, Professor.
Yes, sir.
I just want to touch on a particular issue. That is, I was speaking to my Igbo friend this afternoon. We were going back and forth, and he was talking about Tinubu is a failure. If you cannot curb insecurity in your country, you are a failure. You are this. And I asked him a question: do you believe that bombing this terrorist, shooting, and is that the only way to curb the insecurity? And if he does that, if we end up doing all of that, will it stop from them springing up again? He said he does not care. And I asked him that, why don't you accept the fact that you are supposed to attack this thing from the root? One of the root problem of this thing is our constitution. The system is bad. And if you follow, the thing is, a lot of them don't want to talk about the Sixth Amendment because they know that if they talk about it, they won't have a choice but to say something good about this administration, and they cannot afford to do that. You understand? But if you look at the Sixth Amendment, it is near perfect. Talking about the electoral reform, talking about the fiscal reform, the tax reform, the judicial reform, all of the reforms, and we are literally going into true federalism. For the first time, we are having a president who is taking the bull by the horn, tackling this problem from the foundation itself, which is our system that is bad. But somehow, they just don't want to listen. And that is why I agree with the last speaker saying that they are not, I don't know if we can be one, because the lens in which we see what this admission is doing is completely different. A lot of them have not even seen the Sixth Amendment. I have the PDF, I have everything, I have read through. The only bill that I have a problem with is in number 57 of the indigenous.
What's this Sixth Amendment? Is that a name for it? Sixth Amendment?
That's the name, the general name they call it, the Sixth Amendment. I think it comes from the fact that I think this is the sixth time that they're doing a major amendment to our 1999 Constitution. I'm not sure, but that is what everybody calls it, Sixth Amendment, Sixth Amendment, Sixth Amendment. And I've read it. I have the PDF with me. I've read everything from the beginning to the end. The only one I have a problem with is still the indigenous bill and citizenship bill that still find a way to crowd itself inside of the bill. I thought we already
that was already withdrawn. Some of the documents floating around now, I think they're documents from before we had public hearing.
Yes, I was telling this sir. I was telling this okay, read this constitutional reforms. Okay, yes sir. I was telling him, please read the constitutional reform. Please read it. At least read it and tell me what you think about it. All of them that I've told to read these things, none of them have accepted that I should send it to them and read it. It's because they know, probably they've seen it, but they just can't afford to say the truth. It is not in their nature to say the truth. It's not in their nature to want anything good for this country. And that is why they can be happy that somebody is coming to bomb all of us and stuff like that. Thank you very much. I'll just employ everybody to read it and tell us that Tinubu is not actually, fighting for Nigeria, fighting for the betterment of Nigeria. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Sincerely, I hear this Sixth Amendment thing a lot. I have not seen it, and that's quite interesting. I've read different bills that are being sponsored. You find them on the website, National Assembly, NAS. They have this website with all the proposed bills, and there was a slew of legislation that they were working on before the what's it called now? Before the public hearing. And what I've noticed is this: when people talk about it, it looks like they are referring to those bills that were pushed, up until around March, May, June. And now they call it Sixth Amendment. The truth is there's nothing, it's not, I'm trying not to, it's a social media construct. That's not what it is called. It is just constitutional amendment. That's the truth. Oh, this is true. I heard the president has banned Sharia in the north and returning power to states, sir. What are you hearing? No. The president did not ban Sharia in the north, though. Hey, please, when you see this news, Ejema, send it to see me. So maybe I'll be able to also, because I've not heard of Sharia, no, and the president cannot ban Sharia in the north. That's the work of legislators. I don't think he can just decide that. The truth is this. I think we're using a lot of American terms. You know, America has Second Amendment, Third Amendment, Fifth Amendment. So they apply the Fifth, Sixth Amendment. America has that. Nigeria, we just have Constitutional Amendment, and they're working on one now, and hopefully to address some of the issues that we have right now. If people choose to call it Sixth Amendment, I just try to understand why they are calling it Sixth Amendment, because, but it's important. The important thing is that it needs to be amended, if not changed. But hopefully all of this will help to give us a better Nigeria, because this structure is not working, to be honest. But thank you for that submission. Let's go to Mr. Collins. Good evening. He's unavailable. Okay. I'm very well. Good to see you. Yes, sir.
Hello, I should go. I came up when I raised my hand up when you were talking about Arabi Bayi with their way of trying to destroy the whole thing. And I wanted to say that, when people don't have history, because our own history actually, destroyed their whatever that they wanted to have within Nigeria. So they would do anything to erase someone that have the real history, that will tell their own history in a particular way that they will not like. Because as a Yoruba man, to tell my own history is to actually, open, shine a light on all these people that are coming from scarcity history, to show them that, they don't have nothing. To tell my history within Nigeria, that is what it means. For an Hausa man to tell their history within Nigeria is to reduce these other people into something else. For me as a Yoruba man, to tell my history within the South is to actually put some people into disadvantage. You understand? So they are always looking for how they actually wanted to destroy, You said it sometimes ago that I've learned from this class here that even while they were trying to leave Nigeria at the point, they were trying to go after Ibadan University and Lagos. Why do you want to do that? Let's even assume Lagos is the capital of Nigeria. Why Ibadan in the first place? You understand? So, and the repeat of it is happening again. They never change. You said you're pushing indigenous view from there. And again, you are calling for the totality of the destruction of the country. And this is the problem. At the end of the day, who always be the beneficiary of this campaign of calumny of these my brother from the east? It's always the Fulani people. So if a man take over the power, the military within Nigeria now, it's going to be a Fulani man. You understand? Is he going to do what you want? Is he going to better Nigeria? No, hell no, he's not going to do that. The only thing that they are just after is, the only thing they are after is they don't just want a Yoruba man to be there. You understand? How can a Yoruba man be there? I think I really wanted to appreciate you very well for awakening a lot of our youth up. We need to do this awakening because it's been ridiculous within the space of Nigeria how our forefathers have, gave us the best of the best in our life, and where we are currently, the space we actually occupy now. There have been some times in the life of the Yoruba people where a lot of people claim to be coming from Ife. You understand? That is the position we want to bring Yoruba back into now by telling our history, how glorious we are, how wonderful, how mighty we are. There are so many people that are not from Ife naturally. They will tell you they are from that place. You understand? Because of the mighties and the great things that Ife are doing at that very part. Everybody just wanted to be, oh, I'm from there. I'm from there. You understand? So I think we are doing you guys are doing everything to bring back the glorious days of the Yoruba people. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. God bless you, Collins. Thank you, sir. All right. Final speaker of the math tuition. Others want to speak, or have you come up after the class? So once we're done with this, just go straight to class. Good evening, math tuition. Shawa.
See, this is your face that is always glowing. They use makeup for waiting.
Now makeup. Now makeup. How they use now light and makeup.
Oh, bless you, sir. Okay, quick one. I think our first caller, the legal luminary, made a key point. A lot of our young people have forgotten the recent Nigerian political history, from Mirosi up to Salam, and the effect of that. I think we should have a session where we have these things revisited and the impact they have on us. Because the grass is always green on the other side. The grass is not green where you went through those things, so is that the grass is not green. You know, a lot of talent wasted, a lot of resources wasted, and so on and so forth. My final submission is about the current president. People seem to forget that the Nigerian federal government is very, very powerful. The Nigerian federal government under President Obasanjo fought Lagos politically and determined to crush Lagos and economically. By the current president at the time stood economically, and not only stood, developed an economic blueprint that broke the hegemony of the federal government in Lagos, serving Lagos very well today. God forbid anything should happen to Nigeria, Lagos will be one of the few that will be standing, not going begging with a begging bowl. So that team, Tinubu team, they have been tried and tested. They know exactly what they are doing. They have a blueprint. They've run it successfully before. It's like a laboratory. Lagos is like a laboratory now nationally. And if given the chance, the economic miracle we are seeing in Lagos today is just it's a harbinger of good things to come. I don't know if you noticed that the largest mall, Oka Mall, opened in Eco Atlantic last week. Now, that is a result of the vision of the last 15 years. You can also say the same thing for the Lekki corridor, the economic blueprint. It's not perfect, don't get me wrong. And of course, there are rooms to grow or look for improvement. But when we see something is working, and it's working really well, we need to highlight it, we need to celebrate it, and then we need to run with it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Math Tuition. I really appreciate the brevity of your submission. Thank you very much also for the content. It's very, very good. All right. I'm going to respond. They'll get into that. Then we'll start the class. A gentleman said something about viability. User, to be honest, I remember the word viability, but I don't know viability of what you're talking about. It's viability of the state. So if you don't mind repeating, because I think I have to scroll all the way back up. So I don't know. If you don't mind, I'd like to know viability of what you were referring to, so I'll be able to answer properly. Shupuru said something about what I think about going to Benin. We already talked about it twice. They made requests that Nigeria should intervene, and Nigeria intervened. Also, it was as a charter, and in that charter, the stand by force, from different countries, by the way, not just Nigeria, is supposed to be able to help in emergency situations like what we had in Benin Republic. So I think we should be happy what happened, unless of course you wanted to have a coup. That's why you have a problem with what happened. It wasn't Nigeria invading Benin, it's Nigeria helping a government against a rogue team that wants to take over that government. So clearly it's not Nigeria invading Benin, it's Nigeria helping the government of Benin to push out those who want to destabilize the government. So those who are, by the way, interestingly, folks in Benin Republic, on Twitter, tweeting in French, of course, have actually been, expressing their delight at the fact that the coup was quelled. It's Nigerians who have no business with what's going on in that space that are talking about how, should not have gone, should have allowed the coup to happen, because what they want, and we know these people, they just want to have destabilization. They'll say, oh, let's have it. Same group that went to defense headquarters in 2023 and knelt down like a bunch of babies, asking the soldier, the army, the military, saying, oh, defense headquarters, you should do the needful. What's the needful? Your Messiah lost an election, and then you go to defense headquarters and ask the soldiers to do the needful.
Somebody say never. I'm saying never. Never.
These are people that will never smell power. Never. If somebody say never, I'm saying never. Never. This is not about leadership. Whatever makes you say destroy the place because I didn't get that thing, just destroy it. It means you can never get that thing. Because you don't really care about the people. You just want to have that thing as a souvenir. You can't get that power. You will never get it. Whoever the you means, whether it's a party or the group that believes that Nigeria must be scattered for them to feel good, whatever is going to make you feel like you're part of Nigeria, you'll never get it. Why? Because your heart is not about the development or the growth of the country, it's about destroying it, or for you to show. Some people don't mind becoming king of a desolate place, like burn the whole place to ashes and then they become the king of the ashes. That they will prefer that to not becoming king. When everything is scattered, you'll not be king of the ashes. Nigeria will not burn down. There will be no ashes for you to govern, unless, of course, in wherever part that you like, but not in the part that is not yours. And that thing that you are really desiring to have, you will never get it. Because you don't even understand team play. It'll be team sport, it'll be team, what's the word now? Teamwork. It's sport. You lose. You win. It's the game. With all the stuff we have about Buhari, the things he was saying, he lost 3 times, so 3. He only won on his 4th try. You have lost once. You are all over the place asking. One of them, a professor, wrote a long piece asking for a benevolent dictator with all the exposure. Okay, let's make, I don't want to even say, I have an idea about this benevolent dictator they're looking for. I can even give them a very, 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 very good advice. You don't have to fight. Let me tell you something. This is how you understand 15 coup of 1966. This is what happened. Lecturers, professors were talking about the greatness of Iransi and the importance of the unitary system. We've read it here. And then they say, oh, Yoruba people, outside people, they're against this government because they want Nigeria to go back to federalism, and federalism is the problem of Nigeria. That's what they said. You see, you read some books, and then you read newspapers, and then you see some people saying things like, Nigeria should go back to federalism. That's what we need. And you're like, is it because people don't talk about what you said way back when you said federalism was the problem of Nigeria, and that Nigeria needed to be on the trajectory that Ironsi was giving us, which was the trajectory that NCNC gave Ironsi, which was the trajectory that Igbo leaders gave NCNC. We know where this thing is coming from. What are we joking here? Then suddenly everybody now is waxing lyrical. Oh, we really need evangelism. I watch some of them on TV sometimes. Agbalagba, just be like, if it works, then it's good. If it doesn't work, then it's because the outside hijacked it. It's the Fulani that's the problem now. We are joking. The structure needs to change. We need federalism, but it's not because it did not, because some people's ideas did not work. And whenever you have an opportunity, that is why you know that some people should not smell power, because once you get there, Nigeria is going back to Iran's style. But that did never come. Someone says Gowon was a benevolent dictator. He was. He was a benevolent dictator. But the question is this: what did he do that would want you to have him in power till today? That's my question to you, user. Was Gowon a benevolent dictator? I agree, he was. My question now to you is this: what did he do that will make you want to have military system of government in Nigeria today? Tell me something. And please don't mention NYSC. Let thunder not fire you. Tell me something that has made you... See, if you're going to be talking about benevolent dictators, right? And the example I want to give, Seth, is not a soldier. I mean, everybody, if you have listened to me, you would know that I love Lee Kuan Yew. But you can't even call him a dictator, because they voted for him now. He just kept winning. His party was, they had the power, and they kept winning. And he was there for about 30 years. But you don't think of him as a dictator. You think of him as a leader. I was watching something about him earlier today. You know what they called him? Our forefather. That thing touched me deeply. I mean, we use the word founding father of Singapore. I just saw that word, our forefather, and I was like, wow. We don't have that. The closest thing to that in our own space is our Awolowo. And whoever has the capacity to build will not be allowed there, because it has to be their own. Let me tell you something, and listen very carefully. The people who want benevolent dictators, if a dictator gets there and is not from amongst them, it will not be good enough. Unless, of course, they are able to hijack his government for their own benefit. It is not about Nigeria. It is not about Nigeria. It's about... let's not go into... It's about people's desire to be at the top of everything. And when they're not there, then there's something wrong with the country. But once they are there, everything is fine. Which is why you did not hear PIM when Jonathan was president. You didn't hear PIM for 6 years. Why? Was Nigeria El Dorado when Jonathan did his best? Maybe not good enough, but he tried. Those 6 years, did he build Singapore in Nigeria? So how come nobody complained? Because you don't talk while chewing. People manners, that's why. A battlefield, I don't even consider him a dictator, that's the point. I consider him a statesman. When you're talking about benevolent dictator, the best answer you can get is Gaddafi. Because nobody had to vote for Gaddafi. I can't say that with Lee Kuan Yew. Lee Kuan Yew was not there. People call him a dictator because see, everything he got them to do, they still had to pass it in parliament. And some people will say, no, but always win, because his party, PAP was the party. If you read this man's books, I think we should have sessions on Lee Kuan Yew. When you read his books, you'll be feeling like crying. You had People Action Party, PAP, People's Action Party. It sounds like Action Group of Nigeria. And you just wonder what could have been, if not for children of perdition. And it's not just about one ethnic group, it's across different parts. The North did their own, the East did their own. Those two. That's why the East has no leverage to be saying West and North are working together. Those two did not try in First Republic. It was terrible. Someone says the price was enormous, hence he had to run away in the end. Who ran away? He said people died. Are you talking? Are you talking? Who are you talking? I don't want you. The same Lee Kuan Yew. Which people died? My battlefield. Are we on the same page? I'm almost done, by the way. We're going to go to class now. My battlefield. Oh, yes. Okay, Ojuku. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. When you say he ran away, I was like, Lee Kuan Yew Bawo. Lee Kuan Yew did not run away. But if you're talking about Ojuku, that one. Ojuku should have been representing Nigeria in a sprint. That man could run. He had a history of running. And yet he's the one that they celebrate. Why? Because it's their own.
User, I can't see your question.
Everybody will be all right. Shall we go to the class? User, I can't see your question. Oh.
See, I support the decisions of our persons, but dividing the country.
I think you typed something else. You keep asking. Okay, you say I support institutions over persons, but dividing the country into further states was needed. Dividing which country into further states? You think state creation is the problem of Nigeria right now?
Let's have more states.
If they create more states, as a Yoruba person, I'll tell every Yoruba person to support it. Let's have more states. Let's have Ijebu and Ife, Jesha and Wari and where again? Ibadan and Okyogun. Let's have as many states as possible. But that's not really the answer to the problem. If they want to create states, I will support it. But I know that is not the answer to Nigeria's problems. Under go one at the time. User, you have to be writing your thoughts at once. Like, there's no way you have said something like 10 minutes ago and you're now filling it up now. Or work. You said undergo one at a time. You have to explain. I can't. I know what you're trying to say, but I don't want to assume. It's not helping. So if you write your thoughts in full, then I'll be able to respond to it appropriately. But while I wait, thank you, Math Vision, for coming up. I'm going to take you down now. Shu, I cannot pronounce your full name. And Henry Bozza, thank you very much. If I go to class now, I will come back. That's what he was saying. Okay, so I think what he's saying is that Gowon had to create states. And you're saying Gowon's creation of states is why you love a benevolent dictator. How about now? Let me tell you something that if Gowon had done, Gowon could not have done it, to be honest. But if he had done it, I think maybe it will be in everybody's good books. Decree number 8 of 1967. But the matter is that he wanted to do it, Ojukwu rejected it, and was like, what kind of rubbish is this? I beg you. And then he went on to do whatever he wanted to do. But if he had promulgated that decree, I think it would have been a lot better. And the best thing he could have done, again, hindsight is 2020. I'm not saying he was a bad person or anything, but let me tell you what Gowon should have done. After he became head of state, immediately he released Awolowo August 3rd. He became head of state August 1, 1967. Released Awolowo August 3rd. By August 4th, he should have removed Ojukwu from power, from being governor. Just remove him. Why you be Jiga Sodano? Leaving him there was a real cause of Nigeria's problem. No matter what you did, nothing would work. If he had removed Ojukwu, Nigeria would be a lot better today. Again, hindsight is 2020. I'm not saying Ojukwu is responsible for all the problems, but I'm saying from the time Gowon took over, a lot of terrible things already happened, but the coup, everything, yeah. But from the time he took over, if he had removed Ojukwu, it would have been a lot better. Because see what happened now. August to January, they had a meeting in January. They agreed on certain terms. He came up with those things, say it was 98% of what they wanted in Aburi. Ojukwu still said no, remove him. You will now corner him. He will become like a beast of the field with some people inside the bush crying, but it will not affect the main region. It's a lesson for those in leadership. Some people, you need to nip it in the bud. Some people are. You shouldn't be even negotiating with them. All right, last question. So the question was viability of one Nigeria next 10 under internal and external pressure. Okay. My opinion you're asking, so I'm asking for my opinion, so I'm just going to give you my opinion. Do I think Nigeria is viable? As presently constituted, no. But without that clause, yes, it is viable. But the viability of Nigeria cannot, you can't really make a case for it based on the status quo. Like, this is not how you have a viable nation. Queen Goddess, good evening. Good to see you, my sister. This is not how you have a viable nation where, I mean, look at the news we read earlier. Governor of a state is loaning 10 billion naira to people to travel for Hajj. How on earth does that make sense?
And this is about religion. This is about.
And this is about religion, no.
How about make
This
them
is about.
so productive that they will be able to afford to go for Hajj again?
Does it make them more productive? How about make them so productive that they will be able to afford to go for Hajj on their own? So you create a system, for instance, and say, okay, we want to have so and so number of people to do so and so number of trade. You're going to give them a particular amount of money, and then you set them up, and then you create a structure that supports them to win, and then give them a grant. Forget loan, give them a grant. Give them grants, say 500,000, a million naira. In 5 to 10 years, some of them will be able to travel. Some in less than that. 10 billion, I mean, it's not a lot of money in some people's ears, but if you break 10 billion to one, 10 billion is, 10 billion is 10,000 million, so. 10 billion naira is 10,000 millions. 1 billion is 1,000 million. So a million in 1,000 places is what we call 1 billion. Abi Shemogba.
A million in 10,000 places.
A million in 1,000 places is a billion. A million in 10,000 places is 10 billion. If we have and 1,000, 10 million is 10 billion. So if I have 1,000 people supported by 10 million naira each, or just give them 5 million naira, use the other one to maybe create something for them. Do you know how rich they can get? I mean, some will fail, it's normal, it's not because they are terrible people, but just how business is. But you do everything, break the money into two, support maybe 1,000 or 10,000 people, use the remaining to support them, not by giving them the cash. Maybe you invest in other facilities to help them work. We are not thinking productively. So you carry 10 billion naira for hand. You can't borrow person, same person take the money, travel, take go Hajj. I'm not against Hajj, to be clear. I'm not. This is not again. It's not a religious conversation. It's a conversation about priorities. But why would you not take that money and loan it to them? You don't have to work for that money. Another one is coming at the end of the month. This structure cannot allow us to be viable. That means, I mean, look at the VAT. The Southwest is giving so much and getting so little in return.
It makes sense.
Some people will break bottles of beers, but they will collect VAT from beer.
So you bring beer.
Make it make sense.
You break the bottles and say beer is not allowed, and I respect you for that.
So you bring beer into your region, you break the bottles and say beer is not allowed, and I respect you for that. If you don't want to drink the beer, you don't want them to sell your beer, they shouldn't sell beer in your state. You have a right, and all power to you. But how on earth are you going to share money from VAT for beer in another region? That's hypocrisy.
The law should be consistent.
But it's free money, it's cheap money. The North should be consistent, everybody should be consistent, the South too should be consistent. We need to change everything. Look at the structure as it has to do with solid minerals. How much money can the North make from solid minerals? A lot. See, the North has so much solid minerals that if you don't give them oil, they'll be fine. I don't even know why everybody's thinking about oil. The North should be contributing more based on mining. But what do we have in the north right now? Illegal mining. And it's already starting in the southwest as well. You have all these people doing illegal mining. And government needs to do something about them. Anyway, I hope I answered your question. I believe Nigeria is viable, but not as it is structured. We have to change the way it is. Allow me, the ideal would be to have nations, ethno-linguistic states, right, within Nigeria. So you know that they are nations, just like you have Scotland as a nation in the UK and England as a nation. That's the ideal. But even if you don't have that at the moment, at least create a system where you have resource control, right? You have fiscal autonomy, the dependence on FARC. Give it like maybe another 8 to 10 years, and then you win people off of it. Let them invest their money in solid minerals. Tell them that they can now, you get the what's it called now? The mining right or license, maybe from federal government, but you are mining, you have derivation, whatever, not 13%. It can't be 13%, more. Everybody can do something in their regions. Again, it's not today's topic. I'm just talking extemporaneously. So I hope I'm passing my information across to your user. Nigeria can work, but not this way. And the way to work, I believe, is what the president is doing, particularly with the regional development commissions. What we are seeing is a beautiful way of restructuring Nigeria. See what's happening now with the Southwest Development Commission. They had a meeting with NRC, Nigerian Railway Corporation, to resuscitate rail lines across the western region. That is beautiful. So you're not looking up to the federal government. Let me tell you one of the things I hate in my life, and I don't use the word hate frivolously, but I hate it when Nigerians want to have conversations about anything called development, and the only thing, sometimes the first and only thing they talk about is the federal government. They have not given us, you think you are talking to babies. There is no sense of responsibility, no sense of ownership, nothing we're doing for ourselves, nothing we can do for ourselves because we are helpless, just looking up to the hands of the presidency. So to see that SWDC, they're working with Dawn Commission, they're working, and let me even tell you something. We have to leave this matter very soon. One of the beautiful things about it, let me tell you what the real way we first address. We've never really gone deep into it because I went to study it much later. The primary thing, at least for now, that rail will address is actually farmers or farm produce. Àwọn tó ní oko nígbèríko tó jẹ́ pé láti kó àwọn èrè oko wọn wá sí gbòòrò ó di wàhálà bí àti tí ò da nǹkan máa ti bàjẹ́. It becomes easy for them to move their produce from the farm using the rail or using rail system. So even before, and of course, you cannot build on that and have the movement of people and all of those things. The fact that they're thinking that way, Dawn Commission, SWDC, I think we already have what we're looking for. It's just that it needs a little more work. But Nigeria can work, and I hope it works. But if we don't restructure, it should not be nice. May it be nice for us. That started, by the way. A few things here. Someone says VAT is a wealth redistribution scheme. That's Akadol on YouTube. Someone says exactly. We said Gaddafi at the same time. Oh, Dexter. Yes, we're talking about benevolent dictator. The only benevolent dictator I know on the continent of Africa was Muammar Gaddafi. That's the only one I know. He was a benevolent dictator. Lee Kuan Yew was not really a dictator. He was voted for, even if the party was the dominant party. Mr. Lagunju Emmanuel says, sorry, some people said Igbos have produced a president, even if it is democracy, between 1999 and now. They said the president is not Jonathan. Oh, how far is that true? Anyway, Thomas Sankara, did he even have a chance to be a benevolent dictator? He had ideas. He was an idealistic person, but what can you say he did before he was removed? He didn't have a chance to prove his benevolence as a dictator. That's the point. That's Thomas Sankara. A few more things on YouTube. whoever write anything in your comment section, you are the one writing whatever you are writing. I don't know the answer to the question that Olaguchi is asking on YouTube. Text on YouTube says we can't be one because our cultural differences and cultural evolution is not the same.
What does it mean to be one?
Yeah, what does it mean to be one? What does it mean to be one? Can we be one nation? You know, like we can't be one nation. Nigeria can never be one nation. Nigeria cannot. And this is not pessimism, by the way. Nigeria is what it is. Please, let's power tap on TikTok. This is showing inactivity. Our numbers are low, actually. So let's power tap, please. Nigeria cannot be one nation. And it is not, this is not pessimism. This is reality. Right? Nigeria, at best, will be like the UK. Be like the UK. Britain is not exactly one nation. It's a sovereign state, quite all right, but there are many nations within it. That's how Nigeria should be. All these things we're looking for one nation, that's the reason we're not making progress. Because you spend your lifetime looking for unity where you should be looking for development. We can work together. We can live in the same estate. It's like saying that. Let me answer that question this way. It's like saying you have an estate, there are different buildings, and then you say, can we all loop our houses so that not only are there no fences, there are no rooms. So essentially we turn the estate into a warehouse. That's the definition of unity for some Nigerians. Right? So not just break the fences, but break the walls. So that what we are living in is we're like in a very big auditorium. That makes no sense. What Nigeria is like an estate. People have different houses in that estate. Some people's houses are bungalows. Some have condos, condominiums. Some have skyscrapers. You can build whatever you want to build. If you cannot build skyscrapers and you can build bungalow, build it and be okay with it. Don't try to stop the person who has a bungalow. We will now build, but we're in the same estate. What I want to do in my house is what I will do. What you want to do in your house is what you will do. But we're in the same estate. And we attend the same resident at the Landlords Association meeting. So everybody owns his own houses, but we are all residents of the same estate. Anything else aside from that is death. And I'll tell you why. For you to be able to do what people really want for Nigeria, this unity beggars, you have to annihilate people. The only place where you can do that thing is a place where you have a clear majority. Earlier today, I study Singapore almost every day. Earlier today, I was reading something about Singapore. You know the Chinese are not native to Singapore. The Malays are native to Singapore. But by 63, they were already more than 70% of the place, the Chinese. Even today, Chinese are like 75-76%, Malays are 15%. Then you have the Indians about 7-8%. Then you have others. Because you have a clear majority, you can decide how the place would run. I mean, to the point where, back in the day, they would live in different quarters. It's natural, like you gravitate towards your own. That's why Festac has a lot of Igbos. What they did in Singapore was that when they moved everybody from the slums and from their homes into the HDBs, the high-rise development buildings and all of those things, when they were moving them there, they now decided the quota of, okay, how many Indians can live. They don't want to have Indians parakbo. They'll say Indians here, number of Indians in this HDB flats, number of Chinese, number of Malays. The reason all of those things are easy is because there is a clear ethnic majority. If you go to Malaysia, Malaysia is 55 to 60% Malays. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons they pushed Singapore away was because of ethnic identity. And if you study the race riots of 63 in Singapore, you understand all of this. The point I'm trying to make is this. If you don't have a clear majority, all this unity nonsense, I'm sorry, is nonsense. It sounds nice, but I don't know about you, Sha, but at this age where we don't date, the only people that should be talking about unity like that are maybe even our babies should not be talking about it like that. We shouldn't raise our children on this ridiculousness. Where you grow up, unity, your next generation. I mean, we have children. Our children are in school. You know, your children now sit you down and say, Daddy, this unity thing, what does it really mean? And for the first time, you are faced with the truth to explain to your teenage kids how this thing doesn't make sense. There are differences. Don't hide away from those differences. Champion the differences. And create spaces in different parts of the nation where your differences allow you to thrive. And then when it comes to things that we want to do together, of course, we are in the same estate. But I don't want any person who has been cursed to tell me to stop building my skyscrapers because God did not give him the ability to build what I'm building. And say, no, you cannot build it because I cannot build it. Like, that's what we have in name of unity. So you have to slow people down to make people feel, okay, we are doing it together. Or whatever you have to share it with me so that we can all grow together. Can your neighbor come and tell you right now and say, whatever you're making, share it with me because we're in the same estate? It's okay. So if we all live in Banana Island right now, even if all of us are billionaires, we are not on the same level. Does that mean we are poor? Does that mean we cannot have landlord meetings? Landlord association meeting, and just flex? You can talk, you can be together, you can be friends, you can run things. Everybody knows where they belong. And the day I come to your house, you treat me like a guest. When you come to my house, I treat you like a guest. When we have a party for the estate, we are all together. I don't know why it's so difficult for Nigerians to get this. They're shouting unity, unity, unity. Unity in there. I'm a feel. Unity. Look at America. Look at America. Look at America. Look at Singapore. Look at all these countries, but they won't tell you the ethnic makeup of those countries. The only thing you can compare Singapore to in Nigeria is Yoruba people or Hausa people. Not to be, or let's say Yorubaland, because you have minorities in Yorubaland as well, or Hausa land, because you have minorities in Hausa land. But you can't compare it to Nigeria. 367 different groups. These guys have only 3, and there's a clear majority of 1. And by the way, this is not just about Singapore, it's what you find all over the world. If you mention any country right now, we can have a conversation. Let me not say as if it's in my head, but it's in my head, I'm telling you, we'll talk about the ethnic makeup of those countries. Those things are the things that actually determine the identity of a nation. That's why Nigeria has no identity. We have no value system. We have no identity. There's no Nigerian culture. I hate it when people Nigerianize Yoruba culture. When they say Nigerian culture, they're talking about Yoruba culture. Nigerian wedding is Yoruba wedding. Nigerian food is mostly Yoruba food. What they're doing is Yoruba, but it's soft power for us, so it's good. Music is mostly, the Afrobeat is actually Yoruba beat. The movies that are happening all over the world now, they're Yoruba movies. It is well, we can share. But the point is, we know it's not Nigerian. We know there's no Nigerian anything apart from football team.
When we really get to understand what this is,
may God bless Nigeria. Nigeria can do it. By the way, we don't even need the Nigerian football team. When we really get to understand what this is, you would not even want a Nigerian football team. The day people actually sit down to think about this thing, you will not even want a Nigerian football team.
Some of the things that we do don't make sense.
Why do you need the Nigerian football team? Why do you need the Nigerian league? Some of the things that we do don't make sense.
The feeling of united,
but it makes us feel like we are united. That's the point. There is a feeling of united, but it doesn't last beyond 2 hours. First half, break, second half, over. Next thing, Arsenal and Chelsea. Meanwhile, the Arsenal and Chelsea you are talking about, they're in English Football League, not British Football League. Every nation within the UK has a separate football league.
Not British Premier League.
You want to support EPL, English Premier League, not British Premier League. I know I've been saying this thing for a while, but it's about to repeat it because I think we like football in Nigeria. English Premier League. not British Premier League. You are how many people? How many of us watch Nigerian Premier League? There's no connection.
You can't have conversation without hating on anybody or saying somebody's photos. It's just the reality of how
One day,
works.
and you cannot have this conversation without hating on anybody or saying somebody's photos. It's just the reality of how life works, and this is how every sensible nation, especially when there is no clear majority, they have to redesign stuff along this. So, for instance, you look at what happened in the UK. Excuse me. Even when you have a clear majority, you still have that structure that was now done in a certain way, or in Switzerland or in Belgium. We've had these sessions before. We're going to have another session of these things. You know, someone's writing Yoruba. Yeah, yes, you should have Yoruba Premier League, Igbo Premier League. Mentioning it right now, some people on the series start telling you don't want unity, you don't want unity.
So you don't have unity, you just have a feeling of it.
What do you want? Growth or a feeling of unity? Because you don't even have unity, you just have a feeling of it. Look at your league now. Yoruba has Odua Investment Limited. We've had that since, aftermath of what happened in the 1950s. It's still thriving to today. Went through some rough patch, but we're good now, yeah? If Odua Investment decides to power Odua Premier League or Yoruba Premier League, and all the teams are within the Western region or other parts where you have Yoruba people, there will be people who will think that means that Yoruba people don't want unity. But you will notice that in this country, even right now, look at what happened last month. Just last month, last week, when they were having 2 weeks ago, when they were having the meetings, security, Yoruba people, Southwest, we don't even have issues like that. But look at the way the governors move. That's the mindset everybody should have in Nigeria. If we all have that mindset, we'll make progress. Until then, we'll get there like along, because we have to end on a positive note. We'll get there. Nigeria will get there. We'll create a structure that will work and not just be feeling like we're united, but we'll make progress. Unity is a byproduct of structure, of correct structure. If you have a proper structure, unity is a byproduct. Unity is not a project. Unity is not a project. We must unite, we must unite, we must unite. Based on what? Based on the fact that when you put us together, we should have unity of purpose. We want to achieve something, we're doing it together. But nobody say unity may come to my house inside into warehouse. So all of us are the same. That ain't gonna happen. May God bless everybody. By the way, this applies to everybody in Nigeria too. If I come to your house, I'm your guest. If you come to my house, you are my guest. If you say you're not a guest, you are out. That's because you are an ingrate. I'm not a guest. We own this place together. Get out of my place. You are a bigot. You are a dunce. That's a drama, by the way. I hope you got the. Finally, the evolution of Christianity in Yorubaland, part 4. Part 4. That answer to that question was long. That was very long. All right, let's just do a little housekeeping before we move into class. This is 7:31 p.m. We have it's supposed to be 30 minutes, but we're going to have to wait a few more minutes. Let's see if we can do an hour. A lot of people came up. That's why. So it's not my fault. A lot of people came up, and we don't want to
Please tap on TikTok. Please like and share on YouTube and Facebook. Can we repost on Twitter?
Please tap on TikTok. Please like and share on YouTube and Facebook. Kindly repost on Twitter. Thank you very, very much. The reality says, yes, your illustration of football makes sense. I noticed that football thing makes sense. I'll be using it a lot. I use it with EPL. I also use it with World Cup. World Cup has no British team. If you have heard me say before, please try and get used to it. I'll be saying it a lot. I want it to get into our minds. There's no British team in World Cup. There's never been. We don't have British teams. Let me just put it that way. We don't have British teams in World Cup. We're not going to have any British team in World Cup. The only place you have a British football team is at the Olympics. You have Scotland, you have Wales, you have England, you have Northern Ireland, then you have Ireland, Gogo. All of them are there as different nations, but they are all, I mean, apart from Ireland, those four are in the UK, but the English team is different from the Scottish team. And when they play, that does not mean that they will not meet at Westminster. They still use the same parliament, although all those nations also have their own parliament. But they are still the same nation, the same country. But they will tell you that there are 4 nations in one. If 4 groups understand how to do that thing, how can so many people be doing as if go, we must be one? That's why our prayers have to get to the point where we begin to think.
How sweet would that be?
If you hear Yoruba team tomorrow and you say, oh, Yoruba team going to World Cup, how sweet would that be? Think about it for a second.
If you're comfortable with it, don't worry.
Yoruba team going to the World Cup.
Once you get comfortable with it,
if you're uncomfortable with it, don't worry. Just think about it a bit more. Once you get comfortable with it, then we'll go. I think that's what we'll start. That's what we'll be starting our conversations with. If people can think in that direction, then we can go deeper. Someone says the irony to me is why doesn't England have its own separate parliament? Because the parliament is in England. I think it's also about the history of the parliament itself and how it came about. It's English through and through by nature. The way I see it, this is my own explanation of it. It's more like admitting the others into it. You know, so there's no English parliament, which is interesting because British parliament takes care of English parliament. But the Scots will come to Westminster and still go back and have their own stuff. Someone says we are united because the resources are extracted from the tiny group to feed the big nothing population. That's not why.
let's not change this topic.
That's not why. That's not why we're united. Let's not change this topic. But what you're saying happens, though. It happens that the South-South and the Southwest are the two regions carrying the entire nation. And it's a shame, considering every region has something to offer, but people rather go cap in hand every month end to Abuja. Let us have a little recap of what we have discussed so far. We've talked about how Yoruba got exposed to Christianity, and we said, contrary to what a lot of people talk about, like, oh, in the 19th century, something happened. That actually happened 500 years ago. Christianity first got to, I mean, by the way, it depends on what you call, it depends on where you want to start from. You could start from Wari, and you'd be right, because Wari are also Yoruba people. That's the Shekiri people, are Yoruba people. But even Ife itself was exposed to Christianity 500 years ago, and we established that Christianity was introduced to Ife by Portuguese missionaries via Benin.
Realist, I like the conversation, but I'm trying to cut myself. Guys, should we continue with the conversation on
the realist? I like the conversation, but I'm trying to cut myself. Guys, should we continue with the conversation on ethnicity? Because I'm being drawn to that, or should we go to class? Whatever you say in comment section, me, I'm good. So let's quickly put this to a vote. Should I respond to the stuff in the comment section? Should we just go to the next topic?
When you say continue, I don't know which one. Okay, so let's do it like this.
We should go to class.
Or ethnicity. Just say whichever one.
When you say continue, I don't know which one. Okay, so let's do it like this. Class or ethnicity. Just say whichever one it is. You can write. There might be no. Let's just do it like this. Class or ethnicity. Whichever one you write, I'll go with.
Please, let's start now.
Please, let's start now.
Class. A lot of people want ethnicity, but more people want class. So don't have to go with
class. Okay.
But I promise.
A lot of people want ethnicity, but more people want class. So we're gonna have to go with class. But I promise, we can talk more about this thing on maybe while we discuss the news. But eventually, we are going to
tell us how Benin colonized Ife with religion. No, Benin colonized Ife.
Come to terms with this reality. OJ says, tell us how Benin colonized Ife with religion. No, Benin could not colonize Ife. 1,000 Benins could not colonize Ife. No, Benin did not colonize Ife. Ife colonized Benin, by the way. If don't turn the history on its head. Meanwhile, I'm not here to discuss. I'm not here to.
I'm not here to gloat.
Oh boy, I'm not here to gloat, but no. The royalty of Benin has Ife origins, and a lot of religions were introduced into Benin from Ife. But one of the signs that we are cultured is that we can also acknowledge when things flow, from another in our direction. So, for instance, Christianity flowed in our direction from Benin, and it made sense because, like I said the other day, a lot of things flowed mostly from Ife to Benin. That's a fact, by the way. And when we have the time, I don't mind. We can talk about everything, whether it's religion, arts and crafts, organization, the political structure of Benin, even the myth, right? It's not bad. There's nothing wrong with it. It just shows influence. Just as there's nothing wrong, if I can tell you that, yes, Ifa went from Ife to Benin. By the way, ethnicity, folks, I promise I'm going to talk about it, maybe on Wednesday. You talk about Ifa or Olokun or Ayelala or Shogo or Ogun or Odudua, all these deities and religious form of worship or divination move from Ife to Benin. And the same way, Christianity also moved from Benin into Ife. And it wasn't that Benin people came to evangelize in Ife. The priests, the missionaries that were preaching to the Oba some of them were also directed to Ife, the Portuguese, the Oyibo, to preach in Ife. We did a video on this that is on our YouTube channel right now. Christianity has been Yorubaland for 500 years. We talked about how they got in and it was established. A king even turned to Christianity, just like it happened with the Olu of Warri, who got his son to be baptized and named Sebastian and gave birth to his own son, Olu Domingos, who went to university in Portugal in the 17th century and got married to a Portuguese. And so if you're really looking for the first you're able to have a degree, that would be from Warri. And that was a long time ago. And you hear Reno Mokri, allude to some of those things sometimes when he's talking, because it's from that town, it's from that royal family. All right, so we talk about what happened, and we used two books, Chief Emi Fabomi, Ife Shrines, and Bolaji Dowu's Olodumare, God in Yoruba Belief, to talk about what happened in those years, how Christianity rose, and then it went down after the death of the Oni, who embraced Christianity, and the reason, for the elimination or almost eradication of the faith, which was not as spiritual as many people think, is more economic, more influence, more power than anything else. And by the 1840s, 1850s, there was a reintroduction of Christianity by David Hindera. And eventually, by 1899, this is the fruit of the third try. A church was established in a place called Iyekere in Ile-Ife. And from then on, from 1899, many churches have sprung up across Ife, across the length and breadth of Ife. But that doesn't mean that that at the time that Christianity is coming, that 1899 was when Christianity started spreading all over Yorubaland. No, we're just talking about when the first church building was built in Ife. However, some things that happened before then. See, in the 1840s, people like Thomas Freeman had traveled from Sierra Leone, and some slave returnees, moved back into Yorubaland, and they brought the gospel. We talked about this slave returnees, and the idea really is that a lot of people were taking our slaves into the New World, for many years. But at a particular point in time, the English or the British abolished slavery or slave trade. They abolished slave trade, and they began to intercept ships leaving Africa for the New World. So you have a case, for instance, of the Portuguese trying to get to Brazil, crisscrossed or stopped, essentially, from getting on, and then the people will be taken off those boats. Those people were now situated or transferred to a particular place that we now know as Freetown in Sierra Leone. So people in Sierra Leone were not necessarily people that got to the New World. There were people whose ships were intercepted by the British, and those people were now brought into, Sierra Leone, and they were now taught. They went to school, and so on and so forth. So that would be the fate of someone like Ajayi Crowther. It's also the fate of the parents of people like Oguntola Shakbara, for instance, people like Samuel Johnson, whose parents were in Sierra Leone before he was even born in Sierra Leone. And we mentioned that if you look at what happened in the 1840s, some of these people began to move back into Yorubaland and thought it was necessary for them to, convert their own people to Christianity. We're going to go back to read some of those books. Maybe not everything we read, of course, not everything we read in the last session, but hopefully we're going to have some things to also help us come up to speed. There's a book I want to introduce into this conversation. I'll see how far we can go before I get to that book. But the book is called Aladura, a religious movement among the Yoruba. It was written by J.D.Y. Peel. He's British. I think he's British. But I think he wrote some very fantastic work on Christianity. There's another book he wrote on Christianity, Islam, and Orisha. And when the time comes, or if time permits, we shall check those books out as well. Yeah. Yeah, that's the book. Christianity, Islam, and Orisha Religion. Fantastic work, but whichever, if there's time for that, we will get to that. I'm talking to myself right now, to be honest. All right, let's start with the book we stopped with last week, and then we'll now go to the book by J.D.Y. Peel.
You read 2 books last week?
No. I think we read 2 books last week. Someone says Ogboni was like less than 100 years in Benin due to influence of Action Group. No. The Ogboni that you're talking about is right from the Ogboni. Please, your Bible, we have to be explaining it. The Ogboni that moved into Benin due to the influence of Action Group were mostly ROF, Reformed Ogboni Fraternity. And in these sessions, you know what, let me note it down. In these sessions, I think we should also talk about, in fact, we're going to talk about how the evolution of Christianity affected, or how the evolution of Christianity resulted in the creation of Reformed Ogboni Fraternity. They are different from the Ibile. There's a word they call them, the Ogboni, there's a word they call them. I think it's not autochthonous. It's a synonym of indigenous, right? Those ones, they are not the ones that spread. For instance, ROF spread all the way to Igbo land, and ROF is still in Igbo land till today. But it's not the same thing as the Ogboni, to the Yoruba Kogon. We'll get to that. Is it native? I don't know. It's not native. The word is very heavy, but it's a synonym for indigenous. But it's not as heavy as autochthonous. Mambo. If I don't do this now, I forget. I just think it's important. Aborigine. Thank you, Ajibolo. Thank you. That's the word. I need to start with it starts with an A, is synonymous with indigenous. Aborigine. Thank you, Ajibolo. Interesting, I just found it here as well. Aborigine Ogboni Society. Those ones. So the reason I said that is because if you read the I can change topic. If you read the Williams Commission report of 58, one of the things they were talking about in Benin is that Yoruba people have brought Ogboni to them. And they made it look like it was the way to colonize Ogboni, not whether they don't know or they were being manipulative. The truth is, ROF itself became, it was an organization you joined for upward mobility. Azikiwe was in ROF. It wasn't like they were trying to colonize his head. They would join because they're going to meet people and network. But by the time they got to the Williams Commission, they were making it sound as if Yoruba people brought Ogboni to us. I was like, which Ogboni did they bring to you? Anyway, but thank you very much for bringing that up. And the person who wrote Aborigine, I've just found as well. Thank you very much for helping me with that word Aborigine. Now let's go to some of these things. Just a little recap. So that 2 books here: Christian Mission in Nigeria, 1841 to 1891, by Professor J.F. Adeajayi, and then the thesis by Dr. Damola. Fantastic book. I'm just going to read some of the things that we read last week, and then we'll move on from there. It says here,
Freetown was a cradle atmosphere that nested Christianity to its arrival in Yorubaland.
Good. Freetown was a cradle atmosphere that nested Christianity to its arrival in Yorubaland. Freetown is in Sierra Leone. The first Christian service of Yoruba, I'll take that again. The first Christian service of worship to be conducted in the Yoruba language was a service held not on Yoruba soil, but in Freetown, Sierra Leone, on January 3, 1844. I'll say it again, that the idea of the word first in this context is like first after it has been re-established. If you want to go all the way back, first will not be 1844, to be somewhere in the 15th, 16th century. The delivery of Christianity to Yorubaland was therefore the result of an effective outreach from a base at Sierra Leone to a field 1,000 miles away and 100 miles inland. In spite of the immediate disillusionment of the failure of the Niger expedition of 1841, the publicity set in motion by the event started a chain of reactions that the failure of the expedition could not hold back. One major effect of the publicity of the expedition was the feeling it gave to some of the ex-slaves that it was actually possible to return home rather than stay in Freetown. Hence, despite its failure, it aroused a desire in many of the liberated slaves, majority of who were Yoruba, to return home to Yorubaland. The desire of the ex-slaves fueled the extension of the mission work of both the Wesleyan Methodists from the Gold Coast and the CMS from Sierra Leone to Badagry. So there was the Niger expedition in 1841. It failed. However, the fact that people could actually travel back, planted a seed in the heart of these freed people in Sierra Leone that they could actually go back to Yorubaland or come back to Yorubaland. And so they began to move. The Wesleyan Methodists were the first to extend their mission work to Badagry, with Thomas Birch Freeman arriving on September 24, 1842, and the CMS coming in later on. Birch Freeman, however, noticed that many of the Yoruba that arrived from Sierra Leone did not settle in Badagry, but preferred to move further inland to Abeokuta. These free captives who came in from Sierra Leone to Abeokuta came as quote-unquote Englishmen with black skin. They wore European clothes on all occasions, which made the then Alake Shodeke to exempt them from prostrating while greeting him, because they're like Oyinbo. Hence, Oduyoye observes that Christianity came into conflict with the traditional religions and the social customs, most especially his opposition from the custodians of Ifa, Ogun, Shango, and Orisha Oko in particular. By the way, fun fact, Orisha Oko is what Egba people are shortened to show. So when I was growing up, again, fun fact, you probably know this. When I was growing up, I thought Shoyinka meant witchcraft surrounds us. And if you notice also, if you're from Egba, or you live in Amoy and Gegwa, you notice that they use show a lot. Different towns, Yoruba land, there are certain names that are peculiar to different towns in Yoruba land. So you hear Shoyinka, Shodende, Shofola. Once you hear show, most likely that person is Egba. Sholari, exactly. That is Sholari, Shodeke, even Malake Shodeke. Once you hear show, most likely the person will be from. There's some names like that. Let's not go into all the names in Yoruba land, but if you hear Sholari, show or whatever, most likely they are from Egba. However, I thought the show was a short form of Osho. Apparently, it's not. So Yoruba man ṣe ìpàrójẹ. Yoruba man ṣe ìpàrójẹ. So Shulani was from Ikene, and for the most times, I didn't say all the time. It's not all the time. I said most times. If you put all the shows together, maybe 80% of them will be from Egba. but I'm not saying it's exclusive to Ẹkáàbọ. But yes, Sholarin is from Ikene. Thank you. I was going to say something. Yeah. So the show, the idea of the show, I thought it was Osho. Apparently, it's Òrìṣà Oko. Wọ́n ṣe ìpààrọ̀ ẹ̀, wọ́n pààrọ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ débẹ̀ ni. Òrìṣà Oko, Òòṣà Oko. If you live in Ibadan, there's a place called Olóòṣà Oko. Òrìṣà becomes Òòṣà. Òòṣà Oko. How that became Osho and became Sho is something that I don't know how those. I think they knew amongst themselves that they knew what they were saying. Charism says just like Omi and Elu is from Ilefe. Yes, if you hear Omi Shaki, Omi Shade, Omi Gade, Omi Shore is Ife. Elu Shakin is Ife. Fa Shakin is Ife. Names like that. My surname is Ife or Ilesha. I also thought it was Osho. I'm learning this today. Me too, I thought it was Osho. But one pa Òrìṣà Oko yẹn, one pa. Hey, it was contracted from Òrìṣà Oko to Osho. Oshoko Yimika. So Shoyinka is actually Òrìṣà Oko Yinka. Even Yimika is Yinka. So I'm paro jego. I said that because of what I just read right now. It's not about Osho, it's about Òrìṣà Oko. And by the way, there's another book on that. You can fact check later. I just thought I should say it because I read something here that they had opposition from custodians of Ifa, Ogun, Shango, and Òrìṣà Oko. Òrìṣà Oko was all over the Yorubaland. But they are also communal, right? You know. So does that mean Òrìṣà Oko Yimika? Yes. That's what Shoyinka is. Showemimo will be Òrìṣà Oko Wemimo. So it's the same you say Oshun. Like Tinubu, for instance, hey, to this topic it is well. You know, Tinubu is Oshun Tinubuwa. That's the full name of Tinubu. Oshun Tinubuwa. Tinu Ibu. Tinu ati Ibu. Tinubu. The point I'm trying to make is just like you have those. So you have it everywhere. Tinubu, Oshun Tinubu, Shoyinka. Anyway, all of that to say that back to the book, because if I stay on that one, we'll leave it. We'll stay there for too long. So he's saying here that Òrìṣà Oko is Òrìṣà Ńlá, regarded as the biggest Òrìṣà. No, Òrìṣà Oko is not Òrìṣà Ńlá. Òrìṣà Oko is not Òrìṣà Ńlá. That's a different Òrìṣà.
To the best of my knowledge, you are accepted to confirm.
No. To the best of my knowledge, maybe I'll check to confirm.
Connection of Ishanla is.
I'll check to confirm.
From the hills.
Because connection of Ishanla is.
The concept actually came out.
Is from the hills.
Mountains.
It's from the hills.